Everybody to our Tourist Development Council meeting. It's a little 1 minute after 9 o'clock. We're meeting in the chambers, Board of County Commissioner chambers at Building 2, 1769 East Moody Boulevard. Would you please all rise and join me in the Pledge of Allegiance? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Also, would you join me in a moment of silence as we think about all the good things in life that we experience, and also remember our men and women in uniform and our first responders here in Flagler County that take such good care of us. Thank you. Just as a reminder, this meeting will stream live on Spectrum Channel 492 and FlaglerCountyYouTube.com. First thing I want to do is welcome our two new members. First, John Lugerai, who's the owner of Oceanside Beach Bar and Grill. John, welcome. And also Felicia Robinson Cook, who is the new manager of the Marine Dolphin Discovery. Felicia, welcome. And on to business. First thing we have to do is approve the minutes from the May 15th, 2019 meeting. I'll entertain a motion to approve those minutes.
So moved.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded to approve the May 15th meetings. All in favor say aye. Aye. All opposed say nay. Hearing none, the motion passes unanimously. We have two financial reports to approve. I'll entertain a motion to approve both the budget to actual and the revenue report.
Motion to approve budget to actual and revenue report.
Second.
We have a motion and seconded to approve the budget to actual report and the revenue report. All in favor say aye. Aye. All opposed say nay. Hearing none, the motion passes unanimously. We have three marketing reports. Rather than take them individually, I'll entertain a motion to approve all three. Unless board members, there's one on there that you'd like to discuss. So I will entertain a motion to approve the marketing report from May 2019, the marketing report from June 2019, and Florida's First Coast of Golf report from May 2019.
Chair, question.
Yes.
Would it be possible to have Amy do just a quick snapshot of those reports?
Sure, no problem at all.
It's been a little while.
Amy, can we, let's just go through them one at a time. All right.
Sure. So we have May and June. You wanted to do both months?
Just a real small overview, Amy, since it's been a little while since we met and we have some new members.
Yeah, so as you know, we started with a new website vendor earlier this year, and they've been great with helping us with our SEO and giving us recommendations to how to increase overall organic traffic. When you do switch over, there is a dip in your website visits, which is common. So we are almost to where we need to be, but there's still a lot of room for improvement. So they're working with us on that, but overall, for us on the back end, it's been a breeze. It's been much easier to work with, having the ability for the partners to control their website listing has been good. And it's just more data and information so that we can make better decisions. There hasn't been any surprises as far as where our traffic is still coming from. Central Florida is still our number one market in state in general, whether it be Jacksonville or South Florida, that fluctuates. And with Georgia and New York, our top markets.
Thank you.
Anything else, Eric? Did you want to go over the golf report as well?
No need, not needed. Thank you.
Okay, so now I'll entertain a motion to approve the marketing report from May, marketing report from June, and Florida's First Coast of Golf report from May.
So moved.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded to approve the marketing report from May, Florida's First Coast Golf report, and marketing report from June. All in favor say aye. Aye. All opposed, say nay. Hearing none, the motion passes. Now we're going to get into the FY20 Fund 110 Regional Drive Market Grant applications. Amy, did you want to start that off?
Yes, I wanted to, I have a lot of notes, so bear with me, because I wanted to make sure, since we only go through this process once a year and maybe a couple times here and there, and since we have new board members, I wanted to take the time to just review what the process is and the purpose of the grant program, and then I would like to go over the specific criteria for each type of grant that we do. And it's important to note for the board that when an applicant brings to us their application for their event, staff will bring each one of those applications to you. So in essence, there is currently not a vetting process for staff to bring to you. So whether they have completed their application, or if there's an incomplete budget, we just submit what was given to us. What we do provide is guidance regarding any lodging partners, advertising, the economic impact surveys, and then any further resources they may need for their event, whether it's renting our equipment. So that is our role. Now, this is something in the past that staff has brought to the board's attention, that this is something we would like to be able to do for you. And we did so a few years ago when we modified the program, but as you know, we'll be doing the strategic planning process in September, and this is something that staff intends to bring up again to make some modifications to that program. With that said, we're going to go through each grant individually, and if you, as a TDC member, have any benefit with regard to that specific event, you would fill out the 8B form, which we believe we have gotten everyone covered, but just in case, you would then recuse yourself from the vote. Also, to keep in mind, for the regional drive market, we have currently allocated for the fiscal year 2019 to 2020, $22,500. Now, also keep in mind, our budget for that fiscal year has not come before you yet, nor has it been approved by the BOCC. So that's important to note for everyone in the room. And for the overnight stay, we have allocated $75,000. And we had $76,000 in application. And so we can address that when we get to the overnight stays. But we can go ahead and start with the regional drive market. And
Amy, can I want to say a couple things for the board's edification. One, I was very disappointed in the applications this year because they were not filled out very well. And so we're going to do that better next year. I get the impression that the applicants didn't really know how to fill that form out. It was just a lot of not very good stuff in there. So we'll do that better next year. Also, we are going to implement some kind of rating system, so we can apply points on on each of the applications, how they answered each question, and give them a score, so that we have something that we can come to you with and say, this guy scored 18, this guy scored 14, this is a better deal. Also, keep in mind that several of these applications, what we're doing is we're actually approving a charity donation. That's actually what we're doing. It's if you look at what the money is going for, it's actually a charity. So what we're doing is we're not providing significant advertising or whatever. What we're doing is adding to a scholarship fund or a charity fund. Also, there's the issue of events that are going to make money, that are going to make a lot of money. Do we, as a council, want to contribute $1,200 or $1,250 to their bottom line profit? That's just these are some of the things I'd like you to think about as we do each one of these. Okay, Amy, back to you.
So just to remind everyone of what the criteria is for the Regional Drive Market Grant Program. And this is part of the application that the applicants receive. So this is what the applications are subjected to: the following evaluation criteria: a commitment to the expansion of tourism in Flagler County. The completed applications must contain evidence that the event, 1, serves to attract out-of-county visitors, generating hotel, motel, resort, RV vacation rental, campground rentals. So even though the regional drive market, they're not required to verify overnight stays, the application must contain evidence that they're serving to attract out-of-county visitors. Also, it must contain that it will be marketed to the fullest extent possible in an effective and efficient manner, and that it demonstrates a willingness on behalf of the applicant to work with the tourism industry. There also is a category for the soundness of the proposed project or event, and the applications must include that the project or the event has clearly identified objectives and has a realistic timetable and has additional funding sources available that will be utilized. The next category is the stability and the management capacity. The application must include a proven record or demonstrated capabilities of the organization to develop resources, effectively plan, and organize and implement the proposed event. So those are some very important key components to keep in mind. Also, the quality and the uniqueness of the event. The completed special event application must include documentation of the extent to which the event provides a program for Flagler County visitors and its residents, which is of significant merit, and that without such assistance would not take place in the county. And there are 3 important questions that the application must provide. What added value can the event create to a visitor's stay? What incremental economic activity is stimulated through the quality of the visitor experience? What incremental economic activity is stimulated by encouraging visitors to extend their stay? So all of this criteria is the basis for consideration of the Regional Drive Market Special Event Grant proposals. Failure to comply may be grounds for the rejection of the grant proposal without further consideration of the Flagler County Tourism Development Council.
Thank you.
Any questions on the criteria from the board members? I'll be happy to assist. If not, we can get started.
Just one other comment. We kind of set as a goal that we would concentrate not so much on sports. We kind of include arts and culture, and you'll see on the little sheet in front of you that the funds requested a total $19,500 from sports and $21,250 from arts and culture things. So we got a pretty good balance there.
Yeah, this is a tool that we've had in our toolbox kit, and we just started using it for the grant program. And then what we did is Craig took each application and put them in the most common categories. And some of them could probably fall in 2, but just for the sake of the exercise, we have sports, arts and culture, a festival, and a type of meeting. So this just kind of shows you the diversity of the different type of applications and the total picture of the funding requested and the economic impact and the ROI. And we gave you an updated sheet there on your at your place for reference.
Okay, so we'll start with the Regional Drive Market Grant applications. The first up is Flagler Broadcasting, Hot and Spicy, February 2nd, 2020. They're requesting $1,250. This is the 9th year for that event.
Yes, and we would like to give the applicants the opportunity, if they have anything that they would like to share with the board, anything new that they're doing this year, it's at their will.
Anybody from Flagler Broadcasting wish to take nothing? Okay. Any questions from the board on this one?
Pam Walker. I apologize for being late. But Amy, why after 9 years are we still supporting things like this? I mean, is there a point? I'm sorry I'm late, but
That's okay. Currently, it's not an item that we can deny the application to come before you. There's a question, how will you sustain this event? But if an applicant comes to us and it is their 8th, 9th, 20th year, there's nothing in the process that would prevent them to continue to apply.
That's one of the things why we're going to go to a rating system. So if it's their 9th year, that's going to not score very well, because
yeah, because personally, I believe that I believe Flagler Broadcasting is a for-profit organization, correct? I really, really don't understand why 9 years in a row we're supporting this when it's a for-profit organization. Please tell me why.
One of the key questions on the application is, what are you doing in the future to not have to ask for this, to sustain your event without having to come to us and ask for it? And that's, I said, I don't think these are filled out very well. That's one of the weakest answers on all the applications. Mr. Harris.
The Hot and Spicy is basically it's a fundraiser for the Florida Agricultural Museum, and with that we take care of all the marketing, and we incur quite a bit of expense with it, and they don't incur really any expense, and all the gate and the people that come in. It draws a lot of attention to a wonderful venue we have here in Flagler County as well. So the fact that it's, like I say, really a fundraiser for an awareness thing for the Florida Agricultural Museum, that's why we partnered with them 9 years ago, and it's been a success. And we just felt it was a good partnership with the Tourist Development Council as well, being part of it.
So it's a donation to the Flagler Agricultural Museum?
Right. The Ag Museum keeps all the gate money, and they benefit from the
Why aren't they here asking for the money?
Right. So what we do, we keep like vendors will pay, small amount to be out there selling food and that type of thing to it. But all the gate revenue and the traffic and the parking, that's all revenue that goes to the Ag Museum.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you, David.
Wait, David,
Yep.
I'm sorry.
Go ahead, Felicia.
I am new, but I'm in the same boat as you. As I read, I did not print any of these, so I did read every one of them. And my biggest confusion was that sustainability.
Right.
We ask, and yet there are a couple new ones in here, but most all of these are longevity. And
Right.
I understand that what you're saying is it's in support of Agricultural Museum, but actually the money is going to you all, advertising that you do for them. I mean, it's your choice to help them.
Right.
With
We use radio station money to buy print ads and social media, and we incur the expense of radio advertising on 6 radio stations that cover from Jacksonville to Daytona Beach.
Right.
And
But
so
the $1,200 that you're asking for is actually to assist Flagler Broadcasting
in the marketing of the
in the
event.
expenses of what you've donated to the Agricultural Museum.
Correct. That's
Okay,
a
that's
good way
what-
of looking at it. Yeah.
That's what I wanted to know.
Okay.
And David, is the event running a profit for yourself without assistance?
If I charged us for all the radio advertising we do, no. But we donate it. So if I put a dollar value, which I legitimately could do, on the amount of airtime and creative and print ads and all that, no, it's not profitable for us.
But again, it's your company's donation to that nonprofit event,
Correct.
correct?
Right.
Any other questions for the board?
Hey, Amy. For these regional drive, is the next step for something like this is if it's becoming successful, do we want this to be an overnight stay? Is that originally how I was taking it?
Yeah, a few years ago, that was our recommendation, is that the regional drive market would be viewed as almost like an incubator process for these events, so to help fund them, whatever that dollar amount may be for, I think at the time we recommended 3 years, but if the board pleases to do longer, that's up for discussion as well. And because the goal for us would be then to move them into an overnight stay. So that would be something we would recommend again when that process is evaluated.
David, do you think that this is something that could graduate after 9 years? You've seen it, how it's been growing or getting better. Do you feel that with this 1250 moving into the 10th year, could this be the next?
Well, in like Amy said, this year we followed the criteria for this year, and for next year you're going to change the criteria, so we would have to relook at that in next year's application. We hope so. It drives a lot of people to the Florida Ag Museum. The Ag Museum makes good money on it. It's one of their biggest fundraisers of the year, and so we definitely want to keep it going. Obviously, and like I say, with the TDC, I think it's a win-win-win with everybody involved, and so.
But Amy, am I right that as the TDC, the market?
Absolutely. And for the record, each organization is only allowed to apply for one regional drive market. But yes, regardless, we still promote all these events on our event calendar, which is always in the top 3 to 5 pages on our website, also through social media and our e-newsletter. So our efforts for promoting the events are there as well. And for also this application for the hot and spicy, the donation to the Ag Museum is not currently mentioned in the application, and I'm not sure because the budget doesn't reflect how much was donated in the past. I don't know if that's something that also is of interest to the board.
Sorry. Amy, do we know, I would think that these have like a post meeting?
Yes, all the applicants are required to meet with us 60 days after the event, and then they provide all the backup materials.
Okay, so at that post meeting, they tell us how the $12.50 was spent?
Yes, and they have to have verified canceled checks of the advertising.
So do we know how the post meeting went for this group last year and what they said the $12.50 was actually for?
I'll defer to Craig. He met with them last year.
I mean, we do. I don't remember. I couldn't tell you off the top of my head exactly what the $12.50 was spent on. Is probably marketing materials, advertising, I believe.
Yes.
Yeah, definitely.
So it wasn't the donation to the agricultural
Well,
museum.
yeah, your $12.50 was not what we do as a donation.
Right.
Yeah.
That's okay.
Correct.
Thank you.
Okay.
Amy, I'd like to make a comment. As the longest running member in this board, perhaps too long, where do we stop doing the 3-year, somewhere on the application it has to say, after 3 years we encourage you to go to the overnight stay market. And we need to put a cap, I think, on 3 years, because this is, I mean, a lot of these things have gone on way too long. I know, but there's no stipulation in the paperwork right now, but I think we need to work to that, because I remember somewhere in the past, we had a 3-year stipulation.
Yes, ma'am. So we'll be, I mentioned earlier, prior to you coming, that when we begin the strategic planning process, that would be a recommendation that the staff would propose again to the board.
We're going to actually put in a system where we can evaluate by points each
Yeah, I
application.
heard you say that. Yeah,
So we're going to do that, and that will be a significant deduction if it's gone 6 years.
Well, also, I think in the application process, it ought to reinstate the fact that after 3 years, we encourage you to go to the drive market, or some word that you all are happy with, to say, okay, after 3 years, move on.
I want to apologize to you. You're our first applicant, and it's my first meeting. So
Yeah, Dave's
everybody
taking all the
thank
flack.
Dave for taking all the flack of our questions.
Yeah, Dave's taken all the flack.
Yeah, so I do apologize for that, but those were questions. In case you don't know your own application out there, there are many applications that are beyond 3 to 5 years.
Oh, yeah.
So that was going to be my question for all of you, and Dave has taken the brunt. Thank you.
Thank you very much for taking
And Dave, specifically, would the event occur without grant assistance?
Would it occur? I would somehow make it occur. But this year, we're just following your rules.
Correct. And the advertising is being spent outside of your companies?
Yes.
And with who is that?
Well, we use the Daytona newspaper, social media, plus our radio stations. You can see in the thing, we have thousands of listeners, and we also have St. John's radio stations in St. Augustine that go to Jacksonville. So beyond our radio stations, we do print, magazines, and social media, and that works, gets the people out here, and they come from far and wide.
Sure. And is the money that you spend outside of your organization, you think, increasing the draw to the event?
But mostly from St. Augustine and St. Johns County, yes. Yeah, we've had a lot of people come to the Ag Museum from there and discovered it actually because they didn't know it was right on the St. John's. They didn't know it was there. So that's our primary growth market is St. John's and Putnam.
Thank you.
And Dave, as my experience in media, are you bartering with the other media companies that you don't work with?
Sometimes, and sometimes it's cash.
Okay.
So it's a combination of, we have good media partnerships, sure.
Great.
We use them to our advantage, yes.
Okay, thank you.
Any other questions? Yes.
Amy, I just need clarification on one thing. So if they do not receive the money, it's still being publicized on the website?
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
We don't charge for that. That's just something we do for all these events. The TDC does all the advertising, all that on the social media and stuff.
And then, Amy, one
Mark.
other question, sorry. There is a totally separate funding mechanism for museums. It may not be of the sort that is in the regional drive applications, right?
No.
I'm sorry, Mark, for museums?
Like in the capital spending that could possibly be going to a museum if they submit an
That's correct.
application.
We're going to, matter of fact, Amy and I are meeting with the leaders of the arts and entertainment type groups, and we're trying to expand into that kind of market, help those type of individuals. Yes, we're going to do that. We have a plan for this to move forward. Yeah.
And all these grants are reimbursable. So it's not, they have to come back to us and prove how they spent the money. And then if they meet that criteria, then we submit it to the clerk for reimbursement.
Right. Any other questions?
Here, I had a question.
Yep.
This is to Amy. Amy, on you have a separate worksheet where you have the ROI, grant requested attendance and everything. Can you just summarize how we're getting to an ROI of 986 on that and what that refers to?
Yes. So I'm going to, again, defer to Craig, because when he meets with them, we take the information from the applicant that they provide to us, and we have a tool, it's called the Economic Impact Calculator, and Craig inputs exactly the information. So he could probably, on a high level, just tell you what components are used for the ROI for each event.
If you look at the application, the last 2 pages is the economic impact calculator that is out there. And that's a standard tool that probably 95% of the tourism industry uses across the country. And basically it asks us to put in how many people are coming, what's the cost, so we use their budget as to what they're spending money on, people who are coming, the dates, the hotel information, and just the general information of the event. And then it works its magic and kicks out these numbers for us as to exactly what the economic impact would be and then return on investment. And return on investment is basically the amount of tax dollars we get back in for the tax dollars we give out. So the money that's generated coming back in. So this one would be the positive ROI of $986. So for the $1,250, we return $986 on top of the $1,250. And that's an estimate based on the attendance that the calculator kicks out to us. And then, so my job again is just take what they have on their application, put it in, and see what it winds up saying.
And the tool is not, for the record, it's not 100%, it's a guide for us, and we always try, and we are taught and through our industry to be conservative, but it at least will help get somewhat of a snapshot, although it's not 100% accurate. There's different variables, but it is tailored to Flagler County. So it has Flagler County information. So these numbers are not compared to if this event would happen in Orlando or anywhere else. It is specific to our county. And it's just a guide. It's not, the in stone.
And that's good info. And I think for us members, I think that this is important, especially if we're going to get into multi-year tracking. If we look at ROI for a first-time event, we would expect it to be poor, and then we can track events, and we would like to see improvement on that. And especially if we have events that are pulling in positive on top of tax dollars, then obviously it's in it's a much better position. But I wanted to call that out because this chart is very helpful.
One of the pluses for this event, it is one of the largest drawing events that we have. I mean, it's a lot of people come to this, so.
Yeah, I see it's one of our
One of the
top three
top
in
three.
in attendance, but what we don't know is if that attendance is local or outside.
Right.
So,
Yeah, and it's a hard one to track. Last year I walked around and just were asking people where they were from, and quite honestly, most people were from Volusia County, which was kind of interesting, I thought. But any other questions, commissioners? Okay, I'll entertain a motion to approve or not approve this event.
I'd like to make a motion that we approve it, but at a lesser amount. I'd like to make a motion that we just approve it at $1,000 instead of the $1,250.
Motion's on the table to approve this at the level of $1,000. There a second?
Commissioner, we probably would like to seek clarification if we're able to do that for this grant category. And since no one here is from finance to help us with that, if we can maybe circle back to this one, and I will call them now and get clarification if we can do that.
I mean, whether there's a rule, whether we can reduce it or not?
Right, because the grant is for a standard $1,250. That is the grant, so it could be either it's denied or it's approved at that amount.
Can I speak?
Yes, Pam.
I think, $1,000, $1,250, the difference is not that much to make a vote. We've got a lot of things to vote on today. I think either we should go forward with it, or I personally think you should go forward with the total amount, or we need to negate it.
Felicia, would you consider modifying your motion?
I'll retract it.
All right, we'll open it up again. Is there a motion to approve the hot and spicy 1,250 grant?
I'll make a motion to approve.
Second.
It's moved and seconded to approve the hot and spicy 1,250 grant. All in favor say aye. Aye. All opposed say nay.
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 Okay.
Got to keep track. So I had 4 nays. 4 nays. And let me signify by ayes were 1, 2, 3, 4. The 4-4 tie, therefore the motion is denied.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, David, for being the guinea pig. I appreciate it. The next one up is Cheer at the Pier, Flagler Beach Historical Museum Cheer at the Pier, April 18th. This is the 6th year for that one. And Amy, do we have,
Yes, I believe we have a representative here. She's able to answer any questions. Hopefully not as many as David had.
Hi, my name is Kathy Wilcox. I'm the director of the Flagler Beach Historical Museum. And if you have any questions, I'm here.
have any questions for Kathy on this? I think you're getting off easy.
I think so.
If there are no questions, I'll entertain a motion to either approve or not approve the Flagler Beach Historical Museum Cheer at the Pier at the 1,250 level.
So moved. Move to approve.
Second.
Been moved and seconded to approve the Flagler Beach Historical Museum Cheer at the Pier. All in favor say aye.
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 All opposed say nay. And the motion passes 7-1.
Thank you.
Next up is the Triumph Endurance Events Oceans 50 Relay Race. This is the 6th year for that one. In their application, they said they were already self-funded. Interesting. Yes,
Hello,
ma'am.
good morning.
Please
I'm
state your
Carrie.
name. Please state your name and where.
Carrie Ming, Triumph
Okay,
Endurance
ma'am,
Events.
Carrie. Do you have any questions for Carrie on this one?
I do have a little video to show, if I could do that, and then
Sure.
open for questions.
Sure.
This video we took last year's event. I hired a videographer. Okay, so we shot that video at last year's event, and as you can see, it really encompasses a lot of the county. We had 11 city and county parks at our exchange points for the relay, and without the support definitely at the beginning of this event, the first several years, I probably could not continue to do it. I'm a one-person operation, so any money that's spent comes directly out of my pocket. So this is my business. This is how I pay my bills. So thank you for supporting it for the many years you did. If you didn't continue to support it, I will continue to have the event.
Question. It does say that you're self-supported, but at the same time, you have a negative ROI. So I was very confused by that.
Me too.
Me too. No, I mean, it makes money. So I think it's the ROI for the TDC. Is that what you mean? I'll just clarify.
Craig?
Yeah, that's the ROI for our portion of it, not their budget. So the ROI that's on the report that you see is the tax dollars, not the event dollars.
Okay, but that's my point. is she at a stage where we need to be assisting her to help our county since she's getting portions of our revenue? You know what I mean?
I'm not sure I understand the question, Felicia.
Okay, I'll reword it. The last one that I made was because it had a negative ROI for what the TDC is looking for. I'm correct. That negative ROI is for what the TDC is looking for.
It's one of the items that we felt it should be shared with the board, but there's also other components to the event and the application. This isn't the end-all, be-all, but it is something that we have the tool. We wanted to share it as a guide.
So that is my confusion, is we are sourcing out money, and we're hoping that by sourcing out that money, the ROIs that we are looking for are on the positive side. So and I'm sorry, I'm new, so I forgot your name, but my second person down stated, this is a very good tool, and I'm using that tool, but confused.
Yeah, that's understandable. And this is the first year that I've seen the tool during the grant process. And as far as when you, like Ms. Walker stated, that the hope is that the events progress to overnight stay events. I mean, I would love that as well. For this event, I do have a cap and don't intend to grow it much bigger than it has gotten for several reasons. Capacity at parks, for one, and two, for the intimacy of the event and the way it feels, and finish line capacity, things of that sort. And I love the size of the event now, and I would never be able to apply for an overnight stay for this event based on keeping it at this number. I would have to probably double the capacity to be able to apply for that minimum hotel stay. So that is why I continue to apply for this one rather than the other one. There was once I did apply and I did not meet the minimum and didn't get anything. So that's why this has been more of it's more likely that I could get this event than the other, or this grant than the other. And that to answer the question of why hasn't it progressed, and it probably never would for those reasons.
Thank you.
Carrie, where's the finish line this year?
At Oceanside, Israel.
You got a plug in the video, I noticed that.
Chair, if I have to recuse myself from a vote.
Yes, and with that said, the event would not be in existence still without finish lines and other sponsors that have donated food, that have donated money as to sponsor. Just race registrations fees alone do not cover expenses. So things like sponsorships, grants, things of that sort are what helps keep the event alive.
You said the attendance is 430 people. Does that reflect the participants, or is that just kind of an overall number?
That's overall.
Overall.
Participants are normally in the 250 to 275, and then we have volunteers, spectators, friends.
For sure. Okay. Any other questions for Carrie?
Yeah, I have a question.
Yes.
So is registration open now?
It is.
And how is it going so far?
We're 85% full. So our strongest registration at this point ever, which I attribute to the video because I pushed it out so much on social media and our email blasts. And if you run at all and you watch that video, it kind of makes you want to run the event. At least it does for me. So I attribute that to, and I put extra money towards to hire a professional videographer for that last year. So we have our strongest registration so far at this point.
Very good.
Yeah.
One other question. Is the registration coming from in town, or do you know the percentage that's actually out of town?
Over 60% are out of town at this point, meaning out of Flagler County.
Chair had a question.
Yes, Eric.
Carrie, what year are you in on this event?
7.
This is the seventh year?
7th year, yes.
Okay. And I don't know if there's any way to quantify it. That'd be really hard to do, but I know local businesses also see an impact from this event because it is so, it goes right through business districts and all. I just wanted to call that out.
Right, for Flagler Beach, it's a big deal. It's a big deal down there, yeah.
So
yeah, I agree. Yeah.
There is an impact that is outside of what we're seeing here on this worksheet.
Absolutely. And the regional drive market, again, they're not required to approve overnight stays. That's not what this grant is about. And they can only do it for one event, and there's no cap on how many years they can do it, although the application does ask how you can sustain it. And the ROI is only a small part of the picture, the total picture, just like you said. So if the event has other components that are beneficial to the county, that's something, I would think to consider as well in the application. Again, I reviewed the criteria at the beginning of the meeting, so of what the application must contain to be approved. So those are the items that we need to look at. So it's not ROI or room nights at this time. It's just a tool.
Mr. Chair, I
Pam?
got, go
Let me
ahead.
do Pam first, and I'll get you.
Ladies first.
You said it's for profit. It's your bottom line. It's what you.
Correct, yes.
Yeah. In general, I have a problem with, and I know there's no criteria to this, but I have a problem with people for profit applying for free money, if you will. It just bothers me. For year after year after year, we're paying the salary, no offense to you, but we're paying the salary of people who are for profit. Unless they can prove to me that there's a definite need for us to support an event, it really bothers me that we are paying for organizations that are for profit. And there's more in here than just you.
Yeah,
So,
I understand that. And,
it
and
just-
I understand your hesitancy also. And all of my events in Flagler County are charitable. Last year we had the Sheltering Tree was our charity. So my company is for profit, meaning that I'm not a nonprofit organization, but I always have a nonprofit.
And I just commend you for your list of past event sponsors. It's tremendous. I mean, gift cards and everything. You've got so many partners. It's amazing. So I think you're doing a great job.
Thank you.
But I just have a problem with supporting
Stephen?
for-profit companies.
Yeah, Carrie, my wife volunteered at one of the stations this past time, and boy, she loved it, and it was great. The your profit you make on it is not a ton. It's like $2,700 on there. Would you? And I was going to ask you a question if you could make it bigger, because it seems it sells out so fast. But you answered that.
Yeah, and I probably could this year if the demand calls for it. I may increase by a few teams.
Yeah.
But my goal was always to get to 50 teams and cap it, which is what I did last year. And now, like I said, with registration pushing that this year, maybe a few more.
Yeah.
And on that note, if I paid myself a salary from that budget, it would be in the hole.
You'd be in the hole.
A lot.
Well, that's what I was
Because
gonna
I
ask
probably
you.
make $5 an hour putting on this event, maybe. So if I included that with the budget, I certainly would not have a profit, but I don't. So it's more of a labor of love to do this event. As you can see from the event, it's about community and connection, and so less about running or making money. But of course, I can't lose money and to put into the event. So as long as I'm covering my expenses, and if there's some left over, awesome. But it is definitely not the highest priority for the event.
Any other questions? Pardon. Thanks, Stephen.
Where would the funding go on this? If
The
you received
1250?
it, yeah.
To help with marketing and also other expenses like the T-shirts are one of the main expenses, medals, things of that sort that are also considered marketing in a way, like a secondary type of marketing. But primarily for advertising, and if I hire a photographer, another videographer this year to help with future years, something of that sort.
Seems to echo the Flagler idea, concept of staying small, but having a meaningful impact, which makes it a tough
Exactly.
one because
Yeah, it's my life mission.
you are
having meaningful
self-funded
impact.
theoretically, but if your budget includes your labor, you may not be. But there's also no intent to grow. So either way, I'll look to support this as a business owner, but in terms of use of public funds, it seems a little challenging.
Understood.
Thank you. Any other questions? All right, I entertain a motion on the Oceans 50 relay race for $1,250.
Make a motion to approve Oceans 50 relay race.
Motion's on the table to approve Oceans 50 relay race. Is there a second?
A second.
Been moved and seconded to approve the Oceans 50 relay race. All in favor, say aye. Aye. All opposed, say nay.
Nay.
I have the motion passing 5-2 with Mr. Lujarai abstaining.
Thank you.
Feet to Feast. Yes, ma'am. Good morning.
How are you? Lauren Johnston, Palm Coast Parks and Recreation.
For everybody, this is a 9 years for this event. Any questions for Lauren?
Lauren, what would you use the funds for?
Marketing as well. We want to heighten our level of experience to try and keep the costs down. So we purchase great T-shirts through local business, medals, and that kind of stuff.
This is a 5K, right?
Yes,
That's
sir.
a 5K. All right. Any other questions? All right, I'll entertain a motion to approve the City of Palm Coast Feet to Feast 5K. All right, hearing no motion, the request is denied.
Thank you.
Thank you. Next up, the 3 concert series. Choral Arts Society.
Good morning. My name is Betty Christian. I'm the treasurer for the Choral Arts Society. Choral Arts is a true nonprofit organization. I've been with the group for about 6 years. Our group has been in existence for 21 years.
And this is 3 separate events.
Correct.
Correct.
We have 2 concerts in May, 1 in July, and then 2 in December.
Any questions for Betty on this?
What do you need the money for?
We need the money for advertising mainly. We're trying to expand our audience. Since most of our money comes from patrons, we have to have them in the seats in order to collect donations from them. Over the past 3 years, we've gone from a total of 1,000 for the 5-concert series to 1,400 this past year. So we are increasing in attendance. We've extended, this past year we were able to add the Expression magazine, which is for the arts. We also added the Palm Coast Observer, which we had not advertised in before, so that helped us get the word out again. For instance, our July 4th concert this past 4th of July, 3 years ago we had about maybe 300 people. This year we had over 550. And it's all a free attendance, no cost to attend. Our scholarship programs, right now we have 4 students on scholarship. In the past, over the 20 years, we've probably given out maybe 12 to 14 individual scholarships. We follow them 4 years through college. And some of them have come back to be music teachers at Matanzas High School. We have professional performers that come back and perform with us at our concerts. We have musicians, we have singers, we have trumpeters, we have drummers. Anyone that comes back, we find a place for them to actually perform.
Any other questions for Betty? If not, I'll entertain a motion to approve the Choral Arts Society 3-concert series for $1,250.
Move to approve.
Thank you so much.
It's been moved. Do we have a second?
Second.
It's been moved and seconded to approve the Choral Arts Society 3-concert series at $1,250. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. All opposed, say nay.
Nay. Nay.
Okay, I'm going to have to count them up. It sounded like 4 nays. 1, 2, 3, 4. 4 nays. And the ayes were 1, 2, no.
No, I was on the nay. 3 down here with a nay.
Okay, and the ayes were 1, 2, 3. So the motion does not carry, 5-3. 5 opposed, 3-4. So we will not give that grant out. Next one, Friends of A1A Scenic and Historic Byway 8th Annual Spoonbills and Sprockets Cycling Tour. This is the 7th year for this event. Danielle, welcome. Tough crowd.
Danielle Anderson. I know, I'm like, oh, don't pass out. Danielle Anderson, Executive Director / Byway Administrator for the Friends of A1A Scenic and Historic Coastal Byway.
Do you have any questions for Danielle? This is their 8th annual. What's the attendance on this?
We have anywhere between 125 and 300, depends on the condition of A1A.
Chair, I had a question.
Yes, Eric.
Danielle, can you just take the board roughly through where these folks go when they're on this?
Sure. The scenic highway spans 72 miles, Flagler County and St. Johns County. So we start folks at Marineland at the Coastal Policy Center. We take them up scenic A1A through St. Augustine Beach. We go through downtown St. Augustine, and then we bring them back. Where they see Bing's Landing, they come to Gamble Rogers State Park. They also do the Ormond Scenic Loop down to 40, and then come back, and we usually have a post-ride reception at Marineland Dolphin Adventure, and it gives them a chance to kind of experience the full gamut of the byway, which people come from across the nation to take part in this because it's just such a unique event.
And my understanding is this either is correlated or tied to the scenic A1A project, in itself, right?
So the scenic highway is a Florida Scenic Highway designated and then nationally designated as a National Scenic Byway through the Department of Transportation. So what we're really trying to do is bring people in and get them to see that we are open for business. A1A it's a thriving corridor, and it's one of the most iconic roadways in America.
Danielle, you said that people come from all around and they do the race and then they go home, or do they stay?
They stay because we have, they're traveling from across the United States. I mean, they come from Colorado, Washington State, and so when they come here, they're spending the night.
So why didn't you use the overnight stay grant?
So, that is notoriously difficult to actually verify. So what we've always done is gone with the promotion, and this year we've added a new component where what we're doing is we're doing a test case of several different packages, which will include an overnight stay, a dinner, an activity while they're here locally. Because in our post-survey, we found that people are interested in a historic package, a leisure package, a spa package. So we're going to do a couple of test sites this year. And then we'll be able to determine if that really is something that people will stay for an extended period of time over the weekend rather than just one night coming in, but they'll come Friday night and leave Sunday night. And if that works, then next year we'll be able to go to the overnight stays because we know it's successful.
Any other questions for
And
Danielle?
I'm assuming
Yes.
that would be marketed for overnight stays in Flagler County.
Yeah, because
Not
we do
St.
have St.
Johns
Johns County. What we want to do is concentrate them in Flagler. St. Johns County basically sells itself. That's why we don't do grants there, because they sell themselves. Flagler, people just don't have that insight as to what we have to offer, and that's why it's so important for us to market Flagler.
Thank you.
Danielle, what would you use that grant money for?
We would have to use it to advertise this new package this year. Folks really need to know about it.
Who have you organized the packages with?
So I'm working on that right now. We do have a camping package. We've already got Gamble Rogers agreed to do camping. We're looking to work with Hammock Beach Resort. We know that they may be under contract right now, so we want to make sure that they're available to do that. But it will be local hotels.
Have you spoken with any of the hoteliers?
Not yet. We wanted to make sure this was available for us.
When you say this, you mean the 1250 is what's keeping you from doing
the next step in your program.
Yeah, that's what this will be for.
Anything else? All right, I'll entertain a motion to approve the Spoonbills and Sprockets grant at $12.50.
So moved.
Second.
It's moved and seconded to approve Friends of A1A Scenic Historic Coastal Byway 8th Annual Spoonbills and Sprockets Cycling Tour. All in favor, say aye.
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 All opposed, say nay. Motion carries unanimously.
Thanks, you guys.
Next up, Flagler Palm Coast High School Girls Basketball Rob Moramarco Basketball Challenge. Do we have somebody representing?
He's not here. He's actually at camp right now.
Oh, okay. The application said it was a 25-year event. Have we supported it for 25 years?
No, this would be the third year in
Third
Flagler
year.
County. It was in Miami for the first 21 or 22 years, and then they moved it up here
They moved it here. Does it take place at the high schools?
at Flagler Palm Coast High School.
Flagler Palm Coast High School.
Does the school board support it in any way?
It's just the basketball. I mean, I don't know how they, Joe, maybe Joe's here from the school board. He may know, but I don't know exactly what it winds up being. I know it's the basketball team, and they run, the profits go back into the girls' basketball program at the high school. And we are working with them to track the hotel rooms to move them to the overnight stay program. We're attempting to get them there, but teams are different every year where they come from to participate. But they do have a lot of out-of-town teams. They're just starting now to figure out the tracking purposes to get it to where it needs to be to overnight stay. That's the goal we've been talking about. So 3 years and then go into overnight stays next year.
Mr. Rizzo, do you have something to add?
Well, I don't, but if y'all have any questions, I can try to answer them the best I can. I know any proceeds that come from any of those events, like the Rotary Wrestling Tournament or some of those bigger tournaments that we hold at the schools, 100% of that money goes back into athletic budgets to facilitate our kids being able to play sports for free. So we actively do not charge in Flagler County for our kids to play on sports teams for the most part. There might be some strange cases, but normally that does not happen. So,
Okay, thank you.
So before you walk away, so the school board does not charge him for the use of the gyms or anything like that because it is a fundraiser for the girls' basketball team?
correct.
Good. Thank you, Joe.
Hey, Mr. Rizzo, do you know, where's the money come from? Like the total was like $6,034?
Yeah, I have no idea.
Any idea? Okay.
I believe it's entry fees,
Yeah.
some entry fees for the tournament.
Is that what that is?
Mhm.
Entry fees, but I thought he just said that they don't charge the students to play.
The other teams that are coming to participate.
Yeah. Okay, thank you, Joe.
I had a question for Craig.
Yes.
Craig, you said that money goes back to the girls' basketball teams. Do we know possibly what was donated in the past or anything like that?
On top of my head, I don't know. I'd have to go back and look at the reports, but I can get that information for you.
What brought the tournament here as opposed to Miami, was it?
The gentleman who is Javier, who is the head coach at the basketball program at the high school, is good friends with Rob Moramarco, and he convinced him to move it here to Flagler County.
And I would think this does generate overnight stays, regardless of whether. you know,
It does,
I mean,
and the teams stay in the hotels. I don't know which
How
hotels at the time, but they
stays.
are tracking it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think every year it's been here, I've had people at the Hampton Inn, and I'm sure there's been people
Sure.
at the Hilton Garden, so.
Yeah. Okay. But this would be one I would think that we could eventually transition to the overnight stay
Overnight
market.
stays.
All right. Okay, if there's nothing else, I'll entertain a motion to approve the Rob Moramarco Basketball Challenge, funding at $1,250.
Motion to approve.
Second.
It's moved and seconded to approve the girls' basketball Rob Moramarco Basketball Challenge. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. All opposed say nay. Motion passes unanimously. Next, Florida Agricultural Museum Halloween, which is a 4-day festival in 2019, this year in October. Grant of $1,250. This is the fifth year, I believe, for this.
It's actually the 15th, but it's the third year under a new coordinator.
Okay, third year. And please state your name for the
My
record.
name is Sandy Rapid. I'm from Florida Agricultural Museum.
Andy?
Sandy.
Sandy.
Sorry.
Thank you, Sandy.
I'm going to ask my same old question. Why are you not in the overnight grants market?
Because we're unsure of how many people are coming from over and staying overnight. We do know that we have a lot of people out of county, but we don't know how many are staying overnight yet.
Need to start tracking.
Ma'am, we do.
Yeah. Any other questions? Ryan?
Yeah, so it's basically covering 2 weekends?
Yes,
The
it's-
18th and 19th, and then the 25th and 26th?
Yes, it's 2 weekends.
Is there a fee to participate in this, or is it just open to the
There's
public?
an admission fee.
There
but
is an admission fee.
And I don't, we have a vendor's fee, but it's very small. Other than that, you know.
Okay.
And this is basically a fundraiser for the,
Yes, ma'am. This is a fundraiser that fuels the museum for the rest of the year, so.
Any other questions? If not, I'll entertain a motion to approve the Agriculture Museum Halloween Festival.
Move to approve.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded to approve the Florida Agriculture Museum Halloween event. All in favor say aye.
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 All opposed say nay. Motion passes unanimously. Thank you, Sandy. Next is the Flagler County Chamber of Commerce 15th Annual Creekside Festival, October 12th and 13th, 2019. Hi, Robin.
Hey, how's it going?
Good.
Robin Wilson, Vice President of the Chamber of Commerce.
This is another one where I guess the obvious question is, why don't we transition this one to the overnight stay?
This is my first time coming before the board, so you may have to help me just a little bit. Heather generally has done this for the last, 11 years. We do intend, we talked about it this year, it will be for next year. We started planning this year for camping overnight stays to kind of, rope that into part of the package and the promotion and that sort of thing to advertise that, since it is a Princess Place. There's a lot of opportunity, as well as it does speak to part of our new target market, which is younger people who enjoy camping. And there's a craft beer following called Untapped, where they literally travel to festivals. So as to my knowledge, and I don't know what the numbers are, there are overnight stays as well as frequent visits to the local restaurants and activities. But primarily it is bringing people from out of town into Creekside. We don't know if it's an overnight necessarily, or people staying overnight. There is a group, but I don't know that everybody does that. We get a lot of, we had 7,500, I think, last year, and there was a huge group on Saturday and a huge group on Sunday. We would definitely be interested in making it bigger, and we're working on that, adding other components to it. We'll have Caleb Lee this year. We've expanded a historical look at the area this year. So we'll continue to do that, encourage that. But this is only my first year with Creekside on my own. So I'm absolutely open to addressing that next year at a more deliberate pace, or market plan.
Hey, I got a question, Chair. Do you know how many people come from outside of Flagler County?
You know what, I don't have the exact
idea?
number, but I do know that we market and advertise from Georgia to Orlando and probably further south. What we have done this year and will be impacted with Creekside is that in my tenure there, short as it may be, we are advertising across all media. And we will have a longer marketing time frame than we did last year. So with all the things that we're changing and improving, as well as that, I know that those numbers will continue to increase. I don't know if there's a way, because we charge by car.
Yeah.
I don't know if there's a way that we can count, license plate. I have no idea. But
I'll give you anecdotal, because I
Okay.
was campaigning
There's-
last year, and so I was trying to get petitions signed and all that.
yeah.
And a great majority of the people were from Volusia and St. John's. Great majority.
Yeah.
They couldn't sign my petition.
You could just ask them when they're, you could just ask them when they're paying for their car
Yeah.
entry permit. Just say, where are you from?
Yeah. I'll see if we
That'd
can
be a
do
good
that.
idea.
We have a kind of a ticker anyway as people are coming through. There are usually lines all the way to the highway.
I know.
And we run 2 or 3, so we'll see. Maybe that would be a way to at least get it
Ticket
anecdotally, if
takers
not.
ask where they're from and take a tally.
Yeah, definitely. So,
This is probably one of our county's largest events.
yeah, we're expecting even more this year with the additional things that we've done, and it's an important event for us as well.
You are doing something that we're looking for as a commission here, and that's improving it every year.
Absolutely.
That's something we're looking for.
Yeah, and I'd be willing to meet with any of you to talk about ideas on how that might come about, because I'm learning too, so.
And just a quick question, showing on the budget that it's got a net income about $37,000, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
It's one of our biggest, as you know, the Chamber of Commerce raises its own funds. And from the event category, this is our largest event and helps us meet our budget. Without it, we'd be in serious trouble.
Chair, I had a question.
Yes, sir.
So this is a very successful event. I've been there multiple years. Y'all pull a great crowd in. In the amount of money that y'all are looking for in this grant is very small in comparison to this event. I guess the question is, what would this money go for, and is it even necessary because of the size of it?
Yeah, and I'd have to look at the details on the budget. It's a great question. When I first started, I actually said, is this the maximum? Because, as you know, we're self-funded, right? So our goal, we don't speak of it in that terms, but we are a nonprofit, and this is a fundraiser for us, right? So it holds a very high place in our budget. So literally every dollar we spend can be attributed either to the net or to something else to expand the event and make it better, or offset an expense that, we can't get a sponsor for or get that contributed. So we use literally every penny and try every year. We try to find other ways to expand not only the community and the businesses, to highlight those and give areas for marketing opportunities throughout the community, but also, are there any other dollars that we can save? We have to be that way as a nonprofit. So I wish we could say we don't need it, but I'd have to look and see exactly, where I apply it in the budget. But yeah, we have a series of things. We even try to get the water donated, as you know. So, yeah.
So I guess the question in more detail is the 1,250 doing anything different from if you receive it to if you don't receive it? Because this is an example of an event that is self-funded, is going to happen regardless whether you get assistance or not. So from a consistency standpoint, it does not make sense to use the funds but it obviously is a great event for Flagler tourism, and potentially has a chance to, grow or have some other TDC objective accomplished via that funding. Do you have an idea of what the difference would be of the event with or without it?
With or without it, I'd have to look. Something would cost us money without it. That's the shortest, most direct answer. I don't know, without looking at the budget specifically, what that would do, but as an example, you have to look at the chamber like any other nonprofit or people that are, self-sustaining. We have a budget every month that we have to meet, and this covers literally several months of that. So individually, when you look at Creekside, it may not matter, but it absolutely has an impact. $1,200 is a lot per month for us in other timeframes or quarters where we don't have that money. Right now, we're, in a very, very tight budget situation, waiting to not only pick up this, but advertising for the last quarter. So it's, and it's on its own maybe, maybe not when you look at $35,000 or $30,000. But yeah, that's $1,000 that we may need to finish our budget for the year. So it is very important.
And sorry, Chair, question. You have sponsorships for this. Is the TDC also a sponsor, or is this how you are engaging the TDC, is through the grant?
Amy, do you know? I believe they're a sponsor, but I don't know if that's what we call it technically. Yeah? It's a partnership.
Well, again, we do all the marketing.
Yes.
We do all the marketing.
Amy?
We are looking to partner with them for the next fiscal year, but nothing has been signed and agreed upon of what that would look like.
So right now, just like we would market any of these that we've said yay and nay to, we would market this?
Yes.
Thank you.
Any other questions for Robin? If not, I'll entertain a motion to approve the Creekside Festival grant, $1,250. Hearing no motion made, the grant is turned down. Okay. Next up, Rotary Club of Flagler County Foundation 14th Annual Fantasy of Lights Festival, which will run from December 1st to December 30th, 2020. Yes, ma'am.
Hi, I'm Marilee Walsh. I'm the president for the Rotary Club of Flagler County. Questions?
Do we have any questions for Marilee? This is the 13th year. And this takes place at Town Center?
Town Center.
Right.
We estimate that probably there's at least 5,000 people come through in the 30 days. We're currently up to 50 displays. We use the money for this grant to advertise specifically outside of the county to draw in people to the event.
Do you have any idea of how many people from outside the county have come in the past?
We know it has increased. Being that people can just walk in from multiple ways, it's very hard to track that because they can come. We don't fence off Town Park, and we don't collect any monies, so it's kind of hard. At one point, we're trying to do clickers as people walk through, and that was even inaccurate because of the way you can enter from the City Hall, you can come from the Chimento Building, you can come from the front entrance. So it's kind of hard to track that.
Yeah.
But I know that our numbers have increased. Anybody that's been out there, any night, I mean, sometimes there's 500 people come through, especially the closer we get to Christmas.
And on weekends.
And jump, especially when Santa's there.
Mr. Chair, I got a question. My family
Yes.
and I enjoy that. We go out there a good bit. I know there was a letter in here from Cindy Evans that said the last 3 years the grant's been used to advertise outside of the county.
Mm-hmm.
But have you gotten any feedback? Are you trying different areas? Or are you just doing the same?
Each year we try to expand it a little bit further. I know that we go further north to St. Augustine, up that direction, and down into Volusia. And we really hadn't advertised a lot in the past, so this gave us an opportunity to have some advertising. Anybody else?
Any other questions for Marilee? If not, I'll entertain a motion to approve the Rotary Club Flagler County Foundation 14th Annual Fantasy of Lights at the amount of $1,250.
I'll make motion to approve Fantasy of Lights.
Motion on the table to approve the Fantasy of Lights Festival at $1,250. Is there a second? Hearing no second, the motion fails.
Thank you.
Thank you, Marilee. Next up is Advent Health Palm Coast Pink Army 5K Run in the amount of $1,250. This is a 9-year event. Mr. Subers,
Good morning.
please give us your name.
John Subers, Director, Advent Health Foundation. Advent Health Palm Coast Foundation.
I can speak a little to this event. This is a combination with the county for the run
In the city.
in the city
Yeah,
of
we
Palm
have,
Coast.
we're in about our 9th year. I'd have to go back to my records to see how long we have been seeking support from the TDC. We advertise in and out of the county. This year, we are through Advent Health. We're through all of our regional hospitals. We're pushing it out in each of their regions, so we do expect a few more out-of-county people coming in. Can't talk directly on how many room nights we might get, but I do know that we have about 1,000 registered runners, another 500 or so that are in the area. Work very closely with the school system. It's a great quality life event. It is definitely 100% a fundraiser. It goes to all the proceeds, which we are successful at. Proceeds come back to our breast cancer fund, which directly impact the women and men in our community with breast cancer type procedures, radiology procedures, and a few surgeries. Every now and again, we get paid back by, or paid a visit by somebody that has received the funds from this major fundraiser for us, and we know we've saved some lives, all of us together that have participated. Expanding, City of Palm Coast is a great partner with us as well, but expanding this for economic impact, we're working, and I think Johnny will have to recuse himself because we are working on breakfast at the beach. Cool thing about a 5K run, you start early, you end early. So by 9:30 in the morning, our 1,500 people have vacated the property, and they all go to Flagler Beach. We're promoting that, Flagler Beach, breakfast at the beach, and pushing people to our Flagler Beach, who certainly needs our support. So to be very direct, we're going to do this event. It's going to be successful with or without the TDC grant. The bottom line is $1,250 will not be put back into our charity bucket at the end of the year. The expenses with our advertising, you already seen what I've done on our 3x5 card, and if we get denied, I'm going to ask for your approval to keep that logo on our 3x5 card so we don't have to reprint them. But at the end of the day, it's $1,250 not going to our fundraising bucket to help further breast cancer awareness. But I appreciate your consideration and the past support.
It says here, John, you've been doing it nine years.
Yes, yes. We have distributed over $130,000 over those 9 years, directly impacted about 350 patients with over 700 procedures, knowing we have saved some lives. A lot of our referrals come from the Flagler County Free Clinic, that the Flagler County Free Clinic identifies those patients that need our services, and they go through the system, and we reimburse the hospital for those diagnostic testings that are going directly tied to free clinic patients. That seems to be most recently, last couple of years, our referral sources, which is fabulous.
Any other questions for John? All right, I'll entertain a motion to approve the Advent Health Pink Army 5K run at $1,250.
So moved.
Second.
Been moved and seconded to approve the Pink Army 5K run at $1,250. All in favor say aye.
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 All opposed say nay. Motion passes unanimously. John.
Thank you.
Next up is the Garden Club of Palm Coast Festival and Plant Sale.
Excuse me, Chair, if we can just make for the record,
Did
Johnny,
you?
he recused
Oh, you
himself.
did recuse? Okay, I'm sorry.
Just for the, we want him to
It
have that
was
for the record.
with Mr. Lajarai's
Recusal,
abstaining.
yes.
Sorry. All right, next up, Garden Club of Palm Coast Festival and Plant Sale. It's the
Hello, Denise Garcia, the chair for the Garden Club of Palm Coast Spring Festival and Plant Sale. Hello.
Do you have any 8 years you've been doing this, Denise?
This will be our 8th year. I've been running it for the past 7 years. We've been growing every year. My first commitment when I joined, actually when I moved to Palm Coast, was immediately to join the garden club. And first meeting, they said they needed a chair. I said, I'm your chair. So I'll be the chair for as long as they allow me to do it. My goal that I told them was to promote Palm Coast and Flagler County and to grow the festival every year. Started off at a community church for 2 years, moved to Town Center for 2 years, and now we moved to our best location, which is the high school.
Which high school?
Flagler Palm Coast. The reason that we did that was because our partnership was perfect. We are doing this to raise scholarship money. The entire funds that we make at the festival goes directly into our restricted scholarship fund. So my goal is to not charge the club anything for the festival. And I've been doing that by our sponsors, by our vendors, and by our grants.
Okay. Any other questions?
Yeah, I guess I do. How does this impact us with people from outside of our county?
The more that we grow, the more that we have people from outside our county. We are members of the Florida Federation of Garden Clubs. A lot of the clubs around the Florida Federation have been doing festivals for 18, 20 years. We have one in San Augustine that is partnered with Epic. They've been doing it for 24 years, Vero Beach for 18 years, and that brings in a lot of people into those counties and to those cities. The more that we grow, the more of our vendors come from out of state. Not out of state, but out of our area. One of the things that the vendors did for me this year is before we even finished the event, they were already asking to book next year. And they've been begging for 2-day events, which is what my goal is, which will increase, then hopefully move us into the overnight stays, which we already know that we are having some overnight stays, specifically with our food truck vendors and our large plant vendors. My goal is year 10. It's been a growing process with the Garden Club to get to this level. I think they're excited and they know that we're going to continue, so we hope to get to that level of the 2-day event with more overnight stays.
So how many out-of-county vendors do you have right now that?
If I just threw a number out of the hat, I would probably say 20% of the vendors, maybe more, are from out of county, but I do honestly know if anybody visited our event this past year, the way that we've grown into the high school area with the outside area with the 7 food trucks, 4 of those trucks were from out of county, and then all of our large vendors were there. All of the large plant vendors were all from out of county.
Okay, so about how many vendors do you have then?
75 this year. I started my first year with 30 and been growing every year.
Any other questions?
Denise, what would you use the grant money for?
The grant money goes 100% to pay for our advertising and our rental fees. Pretty much all of our other fees I've had under control. This past year, moving into the new location, we exceeded some of our more, I would say, advertising fees because I had to order a lot of new signage. So it would still go into that part, which is advertising. And my goal is to advertise more out of the county and starting with the Florida Federation because we have a very large magazine and other things that we can put that into.
The publicity budget shows 850, is that right?
That is correct. And as I'm sitting here today and I'm listening to everybody come up, I'm going, I think I'm going to increase that and use more of these funds if I do get them so that I can increase that budget. Again, keep in mind, everything, I try really hard, as you can see when you look at my budget, how low the costs are. And that's because I've been working for the past 7 years to acquire supplies so we don't have to have a high cost because the goal is all funds go directly into the non-restricted, which is the scholarship program for the high school students. We've also started a scholarship program at Whispering Meadows Horse Ranch, and we have partnered with Old Kings Elementary School. We work with their gardens, and then we also are starting a scholarship grant for working parents We're going to try to do something that want to go back to school. And this year, a brand new scholarship that we did start was with Hammock Gardens with their summer camps for children.
Would you say there's room for growth in spending the full amount on advertising, or?
Oh, there is room for growth. And if need be, I will put that exactly 100% in advertising.
Okay, seeing no other questions, I'll entertain a motion to approve the Garden Club Festival and Plant Sale.
Move to approve.
Second.
Been moved and seconded to approve the Garden Club of Palm Coast Festival and Plant Sale at $1,250. All in favor say aye. Aye. All opposed say nay. Passes unanimously.
Thank you.
Denise. Next up is the Matanzas High School Boys Basketball Kiwanis Tournament.
Again, the person in charge is at camp again this week, so I can answer any questions and give you a little information. This is up at Matanzas High School. It's a boys basketball tournament. They're adding girls as well this year to the tournament draw. I did work with him in an attempt to move him over to the overnight stays, and he kind of went back and forth, but he decided he wasn't quite 100% sure of the tracking options this year for the overnight stays, but he will be going to overnight stays next year because I've worked with him to set up some blocks to get people to stay in the hotel so he has a better idea of exactly what's going on.
Yeah, does he have a method to count this year and see?
Yep, he is.
Yeah.
He's getting all the information,
All right,
and part of it is because he didn't quite understand the parents count as well. He thought it was just the team members that were coming in. He wasn't sure that it was the parents and the coaches and the referees and everybody else. So we had to, with the date, that's kind of what we went with this one just to be sure.
And do you know the Kiwanis sponsor it? Do they are they a big monetary sponsor to this? Do you know?
Don't
know.
I'd have to look at the budget.
Okay. Any questions for Craig on the basketball tournament? Okay, if not, I'll entertain a motion to approve the Matanzas High School Boys Basketball Kiwanis Tournament.
So moved.
Second.
It's moved and seconded to approve the Matanzas High School Boys Basketball Tournament at $1,250. All in favor say aye. Aye.
Aye.
All opposed say nay. Hearing none, the motion passes unanimously. Next up, Palm Coast Yacht Club, Palm Coast Holiday Boat Parade, which is December 14th of this year.
Hi, good morning. I got to say I'm more nervous about this than I was when I gave a speech to 1,000 in the United States Capitol several years ago. I'm glad to have some friends here, and I want to thank the members of the Tourist Development Council for giving us this opportunity. This is the first time we've applied for a grant, and we've been presenting the boat parade for 37 years now. And
Would you please state your name for the
I'm
record?
sorry, Sarah Eulis, Chair.
Sarah, nice to
I was all ready to do that. I forgot. Anyway, I also want to thank Craig Leninger for all the help and support he gave me with to negotiate this journey with you. I like to think of the parade. Oh, do we have the video? This is last year's parade. I like to think of it as Palm Coast giving itself a big holiday hug. There are no entry fees, no prizes. It is simply for the love of itself. It has grown from a small daytime parade of about 10 boats to a record-breaking nighttime River of Lights. Last year, we attracted 47 boats, making this arguably the largest holiday boat parade in Central Florida. Last year, we had hula dancing Santas, an Eiffel Tower, Snoopy, Darth Vader, and an enormous blue shark with moving jaws. This year, the parade will be led by Captain Gary Kunis on his 60-foot Hatteras, the Lady K. And I hope once again, Mayor Holland and Sheriff Staley will be on board with us. The parade is now attracting spectators from as far away as Ohio, who are planning their winter vacations around the parade, and boaters as far-flung as Hilton Head, South Carolina. And we hope to have even more this year, a new reason for people to discover Palm Coast. The grant that we are asking for today will go far in helping us to advertise the parade in a bigger way. This year, as before, publicity outreach goes far beyond Palm Coast city lines. I am sending the word out through boating publications and boating clubs and organizations, as well as travel publications such as Visit Florida, the official state tourism website, which is accessed by every chamber of commerce in the country. AAA is also including it in its national and regional calendars, and I am targeting the AARP magazine, which has the largest circulation in the country. Footage has also been featured on WESH TV in Orlando. Jacksonville is very interested in doing it again this year, and I am sending video to stations all across the state the night of the parade in times for the 11 o'clock news. Also, I'm expecting editorial support from Marina Life, a magazine that goes to about 1,000 marinas all across the country. And of course, Flagler Broadcasting has enthusiastically agreed to broadcast the parade live as it did last year. And this year, as last, the media students from Flagler Palm Coast High School will be on air helping us to give that coverage. And if you've been to the parade, whether on the shore or on a boat, you know how exciting it is. There are 4 generations of fans out there every year, and we want to get the word out to even more people through advertising beyond word of mouth and editorial content. You can help us do that so that we may travel further to spread the word that Palm Coast is the place to be on December 7th. That is the correct date. I made an error. And we hope the Blue Shark will be back.
I'd just like to make a comment. My family's coming from Bozeman, Montana, so you can add that to your.
I will. Thank you very much.
Just for the parade.
Thank you.
Chair, I got a question.
Sorry. If I want to watch this as a spectator, where can I do that?
All along the Intracoastal, Waterside Park is a really favorite place to go. A lot of people who live on the Intracoastal have parties.
Oh, yeah.
Lots of parties.
Yeah.
And we've had fireworks. We've had bagpipers came along on one boat.
Johnny.
He had the same question.
Hey, Sarah, just an easy question for you. Where does the money come from for the budget? I see the expenses.
It's just from the club membership dues.
Yeah, there's no fee to be in the
No
parade.
fee, no, we don't spend any money on prizes, we certainly don't charge for entry fees. So that makes us different from probably every other boat parade in the country.
Gotcha. I think what I'm trying to figure out is it's got a negative ROI on it, Sarah, but trying to figure out a way to capture more of it for Flagler County. You know what I mean? It seems like.
I don't know what that is.
Yeah, are they seem like they're coming in and see the parade, then they just go back home? The local ones are.
They stay.
They stay.
It's all anecdotal. There's no way to measure. You can't even see them. I mean, it's dark. It's impossible to quantify. The only thing that we can quantify are the people who enter their boats.
Enter the boats, gotcha.
Yeah, but I've participated. It's a great event.
Oh, I have another registration form right here.
No, as a passenger, not as a.
If anybody has boats, I've got registration right here.
Any other questions for Sarah? If not, I'll entertain a motion to approve Palm Coast Yacht Club Palm Coast Holiday Boat Parade at $1,250.
Move to approve.
Second.
Been moved and seconded to approve the Palm Coast Yacht Club Palm Coast Holiday Boat Parade. All in favor say aye. Aye.
Aye.
All opposed say nay.
Nay.
Vote. Okay, I got to count now. Could I have the hands for the ayes? And the nays? 1, 2, 3, 4. It's a 4-4 vote, so the grant is denied.
Oh.
Sorry, Sarah.
Well, thank you.
Excuse me, Chair, before we begin the overnight stay, I did have a request from one of the applicants. It's applicant item L for the Flagler County Education Foundation. The event organizer, Mr. Rizzo, he has a meeting with the superintendent, and he's afraid we may not get to his item in time for the meeting and asks if he may be moved to the first
Without
item.
objection, I'll do that. No objection, we'll make him number 1.
Thank you.
Okay, Amy, do you have any introduction for, this is the overnight stay special event applications, so this is a little different. These are events where we know we're going to have people in heads in beds, if you will.
Yes, so for the most part, it has the same criteria as far as the commitment to the expansion of tourism in Flagler County, attracting out-of-town visitors, generating hotel stays. And for this one, room nights have to be verified from the hoteliers. So there is a chart that allows them, they must get at least 50 hotel rooms, and they can either get $2,000 or $2,500, depending if the event is during peak or non-peak times. So they will have to prove those room nights at their post-event meeting to us in order for it to be qualified to be paid by the clerk.
That's right. So before we start, any questions? And there are going to be some abstentions here, I know that, and we'll try to keep track of them. I know, Stephen, you have quite a few that.
I do, yes, sir. We have a block of rooms at the resort for this program, so I need to excuse from voting, but can help answer any questions. Yeah.
Right.
And I would like to remind the board, we have line item $75,000 for this fiscal year. If everyone met their room night requirements, then we are over by $1,000 because we total $76,000. So what would happen in that situation, the very last grant would be the continuing education, item number R. So we're able to approve them for $7,000. And in the event another organization did not meet the room nights and there is that money available, we then would come back to you to ask for the additional $1,000 if they met their room night requirements, just to put that out there.
Thank you.
And
All right.
before, sorry, I have a question for
Sure.
Amy. Before we get into this group.
Yes, ma'am.
The ROIs on this one is all about those the overnight stays and all of that. So
Yeah, more is taken into account because they're here longer, so getting the gas, eating more meals out at the restaurants, that factor is taken into account.
thank you.
All right, so the first up will be Flagler County Education Foundation Consortium of Education Foundations Fall Meeting at $2,500. Mr. Rizzo.
Ladies and gentlemen, Board Chair, thank you for having us.
On this one, I did have a question about the budget is $8,721, and you expect $18,000 in income. So that money goes to, the profit goes where?
To the foundation.
To the foundation itself.
So just to give you, so you have an understanding of what we're doing here is the Consortium of Education, there's 67 counties in Florida, 66 of them, 65 of them have education foundations. They meet quarterly. So what you're looking at is you're looking at probably one of your top school administrators from every school district, their not-for-profit foundation that's associated with every school district from every district in the state, and then probably one or two staff people that helps run that foundation or that school. So you're probably looking at a representation from at least 60 or so counties from the state of Florida that'll come here. They always do their conventions on a Wednesday, Thursday, with the intent on people staying the weekend. Last year, last meeting was in Crystal River. The meeting before that was in Tampa. So they make it a vacation destination type situation. And you know, when I got on the foundation board 2 years ago, I definitely saw the benefit of, you know, we can bring people to our community and show them what we're doing. So not only will we get the opportunity to showcase our schools, and more importantly, our Classroom to Careers programs that obviously are driving economic opportunity, but these people are coming here really to see what Flagler County is all about. So we'll have, you know, tours of the schools, tours of the county. They'll come, what they'll do is usually they have an informal dinner on Tuesday night. They'll stay Wednesday, Thursday, and then hopefully stay the rest of the weekend. So we'll go to a local restaurant that first night, and then the rest of it we'll spend a conference at the club, and then they'll have the weekend.
Are we more attractive now that we're an A-rated school district?
We're 100% more attractive.
I just thought I'd let you say that.
And this is the first time that our county has hosted this meeting?
Oh, yeah. No, I mean, we've never even been talked about in these circles before. So it's really neat. I think actually to the meeting, so this is the meeting where they hand out matching grants. And the way the matching grant works, it works by the number of students in your population. So this year, Flagler County will stand to get about $30,000 in matching grant dollars. But they'll hand out grant dollars to everybody, all counties, which is why and that's why this meeting is important, because everybody shows up to get their money. So she'll line up. I know the governor's been invited. She'll have 2 or 3 senators. So there'll be state representatives here to kind of shake hands and say thank you to the consortium people who are actually putting these grants together. I think they allot close to $7 million a year in state funding for foundation grants throughout the state. So it should be a big deal.
Well, first of all, I congratulate you on getting it to come to our county, so thank you.
Any other questions for Mr. Rizzo?
I don't want to ask a question. I like talking about my stuff.
I gave you the A rating plug. Now, come on.
Yeah, well done indeed. How would the funds be used on this?
So if you're familiar with the way the Education Foundation works, the actual funds for this, we're going to try to lower the cost for them to come here so that they can stay those extra 2 days. So it'll be more in facilitating the conferences. So whether it's to pay for a speaker or lower the cost of a dinner, or to try to make it more affordable for each one of these not-for-profit foundations to stay those extra 2 days.
Okay, so if I'm understanding, that means that if you take away some of the convention cost, hopefully they'll spend their dollars staying in our town.
Correct.
Okay.
Anything else? If not, I'll entertain a motion to approve the Flagler County Education Foundation Consortium of Education Foundations Fall Meeting.
So moved.
Second.
Been moved and seconded to approve the Consortium of Education Foundations Fall Meeting at $2,500. All in favor say aye. Aye. All opposed say nay. Motion passes 7-0 with Mr. Baker abstaining.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, Joe. Okay, back up to the top of the list. Flagler Broadcasting Kicks Country Fest, October 6, 2019. It's coming up.
Chair, I have a question.
Yes, Felicia.
I know that on the above grouping, only one, you could only apply for one, but on this one, there is not that rule?
Correct, because it's verifiable room nights. So if they bring the room nights, they can, and have an event that qualifies, they can bring as many events as they like.
Mr. Ayers.
Basically, Kicks Country Fest. It's scheduled for the Flagler County Fairgrounds this October 6th. It's become quite a good quality annual event, big family event. People come from far and wide. We have bands from Nashville that come. They market Flagler County as well for their followings. Their families come here. We have bands coming this year from Miami, Tampa, and Nashville. It's basically a free event. We say $15, but we have free tickets all over town. And it's just a good way for families to get together and have a good time for one day. We're happy to be back at the Flagler County Fairgrounds this year, and we bring a lot of people in, and we have in the past, and we can again verify room nights with local hotels, and asking for your support again for 2019-2020.
You've got 150 rooms blocked out already, if I read your application correctly, so that's good. Any questions for Mr. Ayers? We grilled him last time, so.
Fair, well, I'll need to recuse myself. We've done business with this before, and
Yeah, you're on the list.
Yes.
We got you down. Mark, you're on there.
Hey, I just got a quick question.
Yes,
Mr.
Steve.
Ayers. Last year's verifiable room nights about 67. Is that about right? It said in there, I think,
Yes.
on the list. And then you're going to, what are you thinking you're going to do to jump it up to 150? Or you got some new ideas on it, or what?
I think because we have a Nashville band and they have a good social media following in
It's gonna bring
Georgia and around, that we're counting on them. They say they're going to be, helping us get there. So,
Just an anecdotal comment, we are getting ourselves on the map in Nashville
Yeah.
for a couple things. One is this event, the other one is the Songwriters Festival.
Yes, sir.
We
Yeah.
have become a place to go for the Nashville folks, so that's good for us. And so I think you will see an uptick in attendance this year. So. If there are no other questions, I'll entertain a motion to approve the Kicks Country Fest at $2,500.
Motion to approve Kicks Country Fest.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded to approve the Kicks Country Fest. All in favor say aye. Aye.
Aye.
All opposed say nay. Hearing none, the motion passes 7-0 with Mr. Richardson abstaining. Thank you, David.
okay.
Next up, same person. Flagler Broadcasting Rock and Rib Fest, April 24th. Request is for $2,000.
This is really a partnership with the Flagler County Fair. Several years ago, when we first put Kicks Country on the air, the fair was actually in danger of not happening anymore, just because of financial reasons and marketing, and it was hard for them to even get carnival rides and vendors to come here with it. So we kind of partnered with them. So this really should be Rock and Rib Fest Flagler County Fair. Since then, it's been very profitable. The attendance has been way up. What we brought to the table was the Rock and Rib Fest element to it, where it's bands, it's entertainment, stage sound, lights, and just a new dimension to it, a new energy to it. So it's a lot more than a youth show and carnival rides. So with that, once again, it's room nights. We have bands, we have stage sound and light people that come. They bring their crews, they bring their families. They stay here in Flagler County. Our part is really 3 days of the fair, and it's been a good partnership. And so once again, we're asking for your support for Rock and Rib Fest Flagler County Fair.
Questions, commissioners?
Since I'm new here.
Yeah, Felicia, go ahead.
How well is our fair attended? I mean, I'm hoping it's attended well by our county, but how's it attended outside of our county?
The fair can give you a little bit more about that, but they do come from Putnam and Volusia, and when we marketed also the Rock and Rib Fest part of it into St. Augustine as well. So I couldn't tell you exactly, but I do know that room nights are attributed to it. And also people that live here, their families come, and friends or whatever. It's kind of a social event, just kind of like Country Fest is. And a lot of people, they like family and friends coming, but don't like them sleeping on their couch. So,
Chair, I had a question.
Yes.
The Rib Fest part of this, are y'all marketing to barbecue teams, or is that just the rib is part of just a particular night?
Yeah, it's actually 2 nights of ribs. And we did a competition, which didn't really bring any more people to it. Maybe, some more rib. And so it's kind of like a baby contest. If you pick a winner, everybody hates you. So we just make it. It's just good variety of barbecue ribs, and everybody's happy.
Where do the vendors come from for the bring the ribs? Is that all local?
Like from Daytona, Volusia, and we have some local here. Donnie's Barbecue always participates, but we bring other food vendors in from out of town as well that stay the night.
Okay. Any other questions for Mr. Ayers?
Chair, I got a question.
Yes.
Actually, it's for Amy too, or Craig. The overnight stays and the regionals, it's the same concept to where if we approve it, they don't show the room stays, then they don't get the money or we get the money back, correct?
Correct.
Don't get the
Everything's
money. We don't pay it until they prove that they had the room nights.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Thank you.
But budget only lists expenses. Did you have a more detailed idea of the profitability of this?
The profitability of it? I mean,
income
from
side
the
of
fair
budget?
or from the Ribfest part? Well, there was really probably no real profit because the fair gets all the money, the gate money, and all that. All we do is we just get some local sponsors to help offset the cost of the stage, sound, lights, and paying the bands and staffing and tent rentals and all that kind of stuff is what we pick up the tab on. So there's no expense to the Flagler County Fair.
So this money would be spent for just those expenses, tents, bringing bands in?
Oh, and marketing, sure.
And marketing.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
So what's Flagler Broadcasting's stake in the event?
What's our stake in it?
Yeah.
We're a country station. It's the county fair, and it would have been embarrassing for Flagler County to no longer have a fair.
Nothing else, I'll entertain a motion to approve the the Rock and Rib Fest at $2,000.
Motion to approve?
Second?
Been moved and seconded to approve the Flagler Broadcasting Rock and Rib Fest. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed say nay. Motion passes unanimously. And you're still up. Flagler Broadcasting Freedom Fest, November 16th. You're requesting $2,500.
This is a partnership with the Flagler Executive Airport. It started off as an air show, has kind of evolved over the years, and to now, and it was, if anybody was out there last year for it, it's just a great event. The Sheriff's Department estimated over 8,000 people attend. One-day event starts off in the morning. It's a Warbird fly-in, quite a few hotel rooms. We use the Hilton Garden Inn for that. Roy and pilots stay there, and crew and families. We also partner with a couple other hotels in town for that. This is the partnership is pretty clear. Roy Seeger and the airport, they take care of airplanes and flying, and we take care of rock concerts and fireworks and entertainment that goes on throughout the day. We pay for stage, sound, lights, and once again all that, and we do all the marketing on it as well. There's a lot of exposure for Flagler County and the Flagler Executive Airport through pilot circles. We had every single airplane that was here last year, and these are a lot of warbirds like the B-25, the Killer Bee bomber. Is that B-25? So all these military planes are coming back this year, guaranteed, plus several more, and they all bring their following. They fly in, they stay the night, and they enjoy Flagler County. So we've done a good job in creating a good reputation of hospitality, and it's just a fun day that tops off with Santori fireworks at 9 o'clock over the runways, and it's free admission. We shifted it to try to offset expenses before we did charge at the gate, and attendance was down. So we said, well, let's try free, and it was way up. So we're staying with free, and it's just a great community event, like I say, showcasing the Flagler Executive Airport.
There were a couple of unique events last year, too. We gave out the United States Vietnam Service pin to all Vietnam veterans. That was kind of cool. Mm-hmm. And then we had the attempt to get the largest grouping of flag holders in the world. And
They'll be back this year.
They'll be back this year. I've forgotten how many we got, but it was a pretty big turnout for that, too. Do you have any questions for David on this? If not, I'll entertain a motion to approve the Freedom Festival at $2,500.
Move to approve.
Second.
Moved and seconded to approve the Freedom Fest. All in favor say aye. Aye.
Aye.
All opposed say nay. Motion passes unanimously.
Thank you.
Next up, Flagler County Corvette Club. Corvettes at the Beach, 2019. They're requesting $2,500. And Mark, you're abstaining, I think?
Yes, thank you.
I have that down. Steve, welcome.
Thanks for having me. Steve Wolf, president of the Flagler County Corvette Club, and for the second year in a row, chairman of this show. Happy to answer any questions.
This is a big room night event for us. You're reserving over 160 rooms.
We have a record last year of 140 Corvettes in attendance, and of course, since well over 90% of the participants are from out of town,
A lot of rooms.
That's a lot of rooms. Each car represents at least a room. Usually a couple coming in a car.
Fair question.
Yes, Felicia?
Are you able to let us know how many new registrants you have? I mean, is this repeat? I don't know. I'm sorry, I forgot what year it is, but are they the repeat same people? Are we gathering?
Largely
new?
repeats.
Okay.
I don't have an exact number, though.
Yeah.
But
I mean,
we are getting new people because there's some numbers coming into the Corvette world for the first time, and some people, I guess we've raised a little bit of enthusiasm for this show who are now coming that didn't previously or may have taken a spell without attending and are coming back.
This is done in Flagler Beach.
Yes,
At the park.
beautiful venue, which is the big attraction for most of these owners. As we travel the state visiting their shows throughout the year, we get people approaching us asking when registration will open up so that they can attend because they really look forward to our show. It's one of the best received shows in the state. And the venue probably really accounts for that. Plus our welcome party is, I think, second to none, because we're still having a nice buffet provided at the Hilton Garden Inn.
I attended that last year. That was at your request, as I
Thanks.
recall.
That
But it
was a boost.
Very nice.
I have no
Truth
doubt.
in advertising, I have a Corvette, so I'm not.
So another question. I realize it's got room nights, and I congratulate you. That's wonderful for a Corvette Club to be that large and growing. But I'm wondering what your future is for inviting more people who don't know about us. Like, I don't know where you advertise. Are you advertising outside of us? Obviously you are, because you're bringing those people in. But just what your plan is for growing it to even more. I mean, not that it's not good enough. It is. I'm just saying, growth.
Well, being in my second year, I'm trying new things. I'm sticking my neck out on a few things in front of the club because I'm trying to grow it. In fact, last year, my first attempt was a record number of Corvettes, and we have to partially credit the weather. It was a terrific day. There was no bad forecast, so I think we only had 2 cars that did not show. So we do need another, good weather event day, if there's a good weather event. I mean, no bad event. And I'm trying something for the first time that I think is generating some enthusiasm. It's hard to tell until it really happens, but we've been offered a set of tires by Tom Gibbs Chevrolet to raffle. And when we first heard of this, we were so bowled over, we decided that the potential for ticket sales from this was sufficient for us to actually replace a raffle that we were having trouble with that was primarily for the Pink Army. We ran out of places where we could actually try to sell these raffle tickets throughout the counties because we would do it, for instance, at the front of a Publix or in front of the hospital or at Woody's. And all but Woody's have stopped offering us that opportunity. So ticket sales became a challenge, and ideas for what we could raffle and what we could front the money for started to dry up because we were doing a flat screen TV. Now they're so common and so inexpensive, it's not a big deal. So instead, the potential for the income from this tire raffle, because everyone needs them, and they're particularly expensive for Corvettes. However, the raffle for tires will cover any four-wheel vehicle, which means a jacked-up pickup truck can get mudder tires that tall if they want. The most expensive tires on a Corvette for the ZR1 model, for instance, are over $2,300. And Gibbs is going to cover mounting and balancing as well, and even give a discount for front-end alignment, which picky Corvette owners will go for. So it's advertised on our flyer. I don't know if that was passed out to you, but because the package initially just had our save the date flyer. So that is the completed flyer that's going out with registration on the back. And prominently displayed on the front is that new tire raffle. So remains to be seen, but that's one of my attempts to increase attendance. We're starting to max out spaces available at the beach, actually.
That was my next question is, I don't know your location, but is there room for growth? And
Well, there's the potential to regain parking Corvettes on 4th Street once the construction's done on A1A. Right now, the police want to keep 4th Street open.
well, thank you, and thanks for sticking your neck out to grow the club. Thanks.
Well, we were not going to have a show at all 2 years ago. And that was because the senior people of the club that used to run the show decided they'd had enough. They threw up their hands. And the club actually initially voted not to hold a show. So my feeling was, well, not on my watch. After 16 consecutive shows, I'm not going to be that president. So I've been paying a lot of attention to this, putting in a lot of time trying to make it work. So far, so good.
Thank you. Any other questions? Yeah.
Just have a comment. The good thing that I like about your guys' event is it runs over Sunday night
Yes.
as well, which us hoteliers need Sunday night business. So very, very thankful for that.
That was another thing that this particular grant helped us develop a few years back, was that the Hilton Garden Inn offers another party for guests that want to stay another night instead of driving home all sweaty from a day at the show. They can have a nice evening at the Hilton, and the Hilton provides a nice little party for them as well.
Thank you, Mark.
You're
Any other
invited to
questions?
that as well.
Any other questions for Steve? Very well, I entertain a motion to approve the Corvettes at the Beach 2019 at $2,500.
So moved.
Second.
Been moved and seconded to approve Corvettes at the Beach 2019. All in favor say aye. Aye. All opposed say nay. Vote carries 7-0 with Mark abstaining.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, Steve. Flagler County Horseshoe Pitching Club, Florida Georgia Tournament, October 25th through the 26th. Welcome. I want to preface this by saying that Flagler County has built them a beautiful facility.
Yes, they did, and they improved it this year dramatically. My name is Joe Norton. I'm president of Flagler County Horseshoe Pitching Club. And this year we've put in our first application for a tournament that we've been hosting for 5 years now. Now it's the Florida-Georgia team tournament. An interesting part about it is Georgia doesn't want to have it in Georgia. They only want to come here. The state tried to move the tournament to someplace else. The people from Georgia said, we won't go anyplace else but Flagler County. We think from people that come from other parts of Florida, and certainly almost all the people from Georgia, put their heads in beds, and that we would hit the no less than the 50 night rooms. I know we already have some bookings, and we have a block of rooms. My intent is to try to help get more people from Georgia, more teams from Georgia, besides the 4 or 5 that come. And in any way, I have to work that out with the president of the Georgia Horseshoe Pitching Association. But he said he has some ideas. So that's part of the process here, is to get more Georgia teams here, because we basically have about 12 Florida teams. And last year, Flagler County was first and second in that tournament.
Good, good. How many people are on a team, Joe?
5.
5, okay.
5. And you'll see us again because we have
You're
the
next.
Florida team tournament in October. So we've become a popular destination for horseshoes in the state of Florida.
Any questions for Joe?
Mr. Chair, I need to recuse myself from voting as the Hampton Inn as the host hotel for this event, so I'd be happy to answer any questions.
Mr. Norton, just got a question for you. How are you going to get the word out to the Georgia people to book some rooms? You
We already do that. We've done that consistently. I set up a direct link with Ryan and the local phone number, and they publish it throughout the state of Georgia. So the link automatically qualifies them for the special rate for the event.
Perfect. Thank you.
Any other questions for Joe? Felicia?
Yes, question. I heard you say that you have 4 to 5 teams that come from Georgia now, and your goal is to get more, and you're working on that.
We're working on that.
So my question is, since you took 1 and 2, outside of Flagler County, how many Florida teams come?
We have, last year, I believe we had 12 Florida teams representing most of the state, other horseshoe clubs in the state. There are 18 clubs in the state of Florida.
Okay.
And some, I think, based upon the number of 2 teams that some clubs provided, we represented about 8 of the 18 clubs.
Thank you.
Some clubs don't pitch in any tournaments as a club.
Any other questions? If not, I'll entertain a motion to approve $2,500 for the Florida-Georgia Horseshoe Pitching Tournament.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Moved and seconded to approve the Horseshoe Pitching Florida-Georgia Tournament. All in favor say aye. Aye. All opposed say nay. Motion passes 7-0 with Mr. Crabb abstaining.
Thank you very much.
And Joe, you're still up. Next one is the Flagler County Horseshoe Pitching Club Florida Team Championships. And this will be January 24th and 25th of next year. And I have 2 abstentions on this one. We have Mr. Richardson and Mr. Crabb.
Yes.
Okay.
This is a slightly larger team tournament. It is held every year, but it rotates like the state tournament does between the 5 facilities in the state. We have one of only 5 facilities in the state of Florida capable of holding either the state tournament or this team tournament because of the participation. We know for a fact that we can book the necessary hotel rooms. I think there's even some booked already, I'm not sure. But the links will be set up with both hotels and to have online booking at the special rates that we will negotiate with the hotels.
Okay.
Hope to negotiate, that is.
Any other questions? Felicia?
This is the first year that we have held the team tournament. By the way, we won it last year, came in first and second too, and in the state. We've got the trophies in our brand new clubhouse to prove it.
Sounds like you need to be connecting with the Boys and Girls Club and teaching some of those younger kids how to pitch horseshoes.
We have proposed it. We tried that up at the Palm Coast camp. I've talked to the lady that runs the PAL. I'm hoping to figure out how to get a hold of the ADs at the 2 schools to see if they would be interested in putting in a couple of sand courts or basic courts so that we could start and teach some of the high school kids who would like to do a sport but don't want to play football or basketball, to teach them. I'm not sure that we have a limited amount of membership time to accomplish these, but seeing as we're almost all retired, I guess we can figure that out.
Time to connect those generations.
Yes.
Yeah. Any other questions for Joe? If not, I'll entertain a motion to approve the Flagler County Horseshoe Pitching Club Florida Team Championships that will be in Flagler County at $2,500.
Motion to approve.
It's been moved and seconded to approve the Florida Team Championship to be held in Flagler County. All in favor say aye. Aye. All opposed say nay. Motion passes 6-0 with Mr. Crabb and Mr. Richardson abstaining. Thank you, Joe.
Thank you.
Chair,
Yes?
can I step out for a second?
Sure. Next up, Florida Agriculture Museum Walk Back in Time, which will be November 22nd through the 24th of this year. Hi.
Hi, good morning.
Good morning.
They needed both of us to tell you about this one.
Okay.
Yes. I'm Kara Hoblick, and I'm the Executive Director at the Ag Museum.
And I'm Sandy Reffett, the Director of Development. So this year we have, in addition to what we've put in the grant proposal, and Kara's going to give you a little bit of information about that.
This event has been declining over the years, and like several other events, we're trying to push to increase attendance. This event has encampments, and participants walk through the encampments and learn about the history of Florida through live presentations. To bring in a larger number of people, we have partnered with Six Gun Territory, who used to be located in Ocala. They were a huge entertainment here in the state of Florida. They now do reunions in Williston at a farm up at Kirby Family Farm. So they have agreed to come and do presentations at our event. So that's going to bring, just that name alone is going to bring in a lot more people.
Oh, sorry. They've also let us know that they are also going to be bringing at minimum 50 people and up to 250 people with them for this event.
And where are they from? I'm sorry I missed that.
Ocala.
Ocala.
And actually, they're all volunteers, and the performers will be from all over the state of Florida.
Okay. Any questions, please? Folks?
I have a question.
Yeah.
This is a first-time event? Or-
No, this has been going on for 8 years, I think.
Yes, but we didn't apply for grants for it. I have never applied for a grant for it myself.
Okay, so we don't know how many room nights or,
Not precisely, no.
Okay.
And I've purposefully not blocked any rooms yet.
okay. And then how will they know?
I have registration. I
Okay.
have registration that'll tell me every zip code, and they have to fill that out before they can even.
But they will know what hotels you have
Got that in the registration.
contracted with? Okay.
Any other questions? If not, I'll entertain a motion to approve the Walk Back in Time event.
Move to approve.
Second?
Been moved and seconded to approve the Florida Ag Museum Walk Back in Time. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. All opposed say nay. Motion passes unanimously.
Thank you.
Next is the City of Palm Coast Tech Beach Hackathon, January 17th through the 19th, 2020. I'm interested to hear about this.
Hi, I'm Taylor Campo from the City of Palm Coast.
Thank you, Taylor.
Go ahead and click to the next one. Okay, the Tech Beach Hackathon is a 24-hour event where programmers, software developers, and workforce professionals who share a common interest come and work together using technology to solve real-world problems. Thank you. An example is a hospital not having an easy way to streamline patients' data between departments. If we can get programmers working together with the nurse, the programmer can listen to what the real issues are on the floor and what is needed to create an effective product. What makes us different than other hackathons is that we are going to be holding a kickoff event at Central Park with local vendors and games so our participants can network while gaining a taste of our community.
Chair, I got a question, just if you don't mind. Stephen? Sorry. Taylor, is it similar to like the problem solvers that the schools do?
I'm not sure what the problem solvers at the school do. What makes us different is we are going to have actual professionals from all over the United States coming in. We
Okay.
hope to have 200 participants.
You say us, is the city of Palm Coast? Who is us?
Yes, City of Palm Coast, the innovation team.
And Chair, I'll need to recuse to having a room block here. I'll need to recuse myself from this one.
Yeah, I have you down as a being recused, right?
Chair, question?
Yes, Felicia?
Okay, so I'm new here too. City of Palm Coast has an innovation team, which has how many members?
We have about 10 members.
Okay. And it's your job as the innovation team to do what?
Right now, we are just planning events to go along with our theme of the Innovation District, which is bringing in new businesses and technology hubs into our town center.
My name is Brandon Washington. I'm with the City of Palm Coast as well. So with the innovation team, we also have the innovation district. So Advent Health, anyone that's in the innovation corridor that goes from, all the way from Belterre Parkway all the way to where Advent Health is a part of this team. All of us are in the goal of this event is to attract individuals that can help to solve some problems using Salesforce, which is one of the local businesses here. Advent Health, we believe, will be one of our sponsors for the event, like the main sponsor for it as well. So we'll have 200 people from all across the world, just like she said, that will be here for the 3 nights that will be doing this. So the kickoff event will be that Friday. Then afterwards on Saturday, they'll have 24 hours to solve a problem, whatever the problem that they entail to fix.
Who gives them the problem?
So we'll have like a parameter. So the parameter will be probably something within the healthcare field, utilizing the Salesforce software for it.
Okay.
Stephen?
Brandon,
sorry.
Go ahead.
All 200 participants will work on the one problem, or will there be a mix of problems to pull from?
A mix of problems. So it might be an opioid crisis. It might be, wellness initiatives. It might be, getting people to parks and utilizing it. So the healthcare is the overarching issue, but then afterwards there's different fields into each of them.
Thank you.
Stephen?
And Brandon, have they done this at other places before?
Yeah.
Is it kind of like something that's happened before?
Yeah, it has. So this, the idea of this stemmed from looking at one of the TED Talks and stuff. But they do stuff like this all over the country. They do it at Boston, UCF, Vancouver, California, Dallas. Harvard. It's pretty.
This is our first time?
Yeah, this is our first time. So the idea is to attract people to the Innovation District, but then also to try to grow people's interest with the county as well, because as you guys know, at least our city council is trying to attract more of the tech-savvy individuals to come.
Right. Any other question?
I have a question, Chair.
Yes, John.
Have one of you ever been to a hackathon event?
I have, yes.
All right. Where?
Down at Stetson University.
Stetson?
Yeah, so that one was geared more towards the college students. So the Stetson University one, I forget exactly what it's called, but they do ones across the country. So it's the same concept, 24 hours to solve a real world problem. Then also during that time period, they normally will have like speakers that come out and talk to them too. The ones that was at Stetson and was a little bit different than ours, just because it's part of like a national organization and they go to different places across the country to host these events.
Question again, I'm sorry.
Yeah, Felicia?
Do you already have commitments from the people that will be coming as speakers?
Not yet. We're in the process of doing that right now.
Okay.
I got a comment.
Yes, John.
I have a close friend of mine that actually runs hackathon events in New York City, and I'll tell you the positives that can come from it, if it's handled correctly, are unbelievable. You have some really, really intelligent people that when they're given, even if it's hotel-related issues or restaurant-related issues, if you direct them and give them a solid problem that we're even having in the county, I mean, they can really do some good.
Right.
Do you have the, question. Do you have the Salesforce software people backing this in any way?
Yes.
Okay.
Anything else? If not, I'll entertain a motion to approve the Tech Beach Hackathon.
Motion to approve.
Second.
It's moved and seconded to approve the Tech Beach Hackathon at $2,500. All in favor say aye. Aye. All opposed say nay. Hearing none, the motion passes 7-0 with Mr. Richardson abstaining. Thank you, Brendan. Thank you.
I'd just like to make a comment. Thank you for your application, because when I first read it, I was like, what? From the TDC? But then it made me go to Google and research, and it's a great idea. Thank you for bringing it to Flagler County.
Great idea.
Next up is the Palm Coast Tennis Center M25 Palm Coast Tournament. That'll be January of next year.
So that is me, Brandon Washington with Palm Coast Parks and Recreation, City of Palm Coast, the tennis center. So we have a tennis event that we've been hosting now for 11 years. It has increased from last year to 2 years ago, where it was a $15,000 event, where we have a $50,000 purse, to now a $25,000 event. So it's essentially 3 different events that happen all over this during the same time. We have a wild card tournament prior, a qualifier as well, and then a main draw event. So we have the wild card normally gets anywhere from 32 to 48 individuals. The qualifier event will be 48 individuals, and then the main draw will be 32 for singles and then 16 for doubles. That will be here. All these individuals are international tennis players from all across the world. So there's really hardly anyone from here in the city of Palm Coast, or even in the county for that matter. One of the things that we've done to change it is that this event normally used to conflict with the Rolex event in Daytona. So a lot of the individuals were staying elsewhere because they weren't able to secure a room night here. So we've changed the dates for the event to kind of coincide with that, in hopes that we'll be able to make sure that people are actually staying here.
I see you're expecting 250 hotel room nights. That's big.
We're hoping for it. Well, the thing about our event is that it goes over so many days. So that's what we're hoping. I mean, we know that the people stay. We just didn't really know exactly where. And a lot of people, because of the Rolex, were staying elsewhere. That was one of the things.
So how many years have you been coordinating this?
This is my 3rd year.
Okay. And so within those first 2 years, you realized there was a conflict with a major event, and you were able to make the change.
Yes.
Is this the first year with the date change?
Yes.
Have you seen your registration go down?
So our registration numbers don't actually go into effect until right before the event. So kind of the difference between our event is, let me rephrase that. So with our event, you have a number of individuals that apply for it, from all across the world. And then based off of their rankings, they get slotted into events. But they're applying for different events that are happening across the country as well. So based off of that, let's say if you're not in the top 48, no matter what, we'll get for sure 48 individuals, and we'll get 32 individuals and the 16 individuals. The difference is the wild card event. That's kind of the, wild card, to lack of better terms, because during that time period, the people for the wild card, they play for either a main draw automatic qualifier or a qualifier automatic.
And what are we?
So we offer both. We offer both. But if you're a lower ranked individual, you can then hopefully play in the wild card, end up winning, and then afterwards you'll get into the main draw.
Okay, so your new date, how did that conflict with the industry dates? You said they're happening all the time?
No. Sorry, it's not conflicting with the industry date. What the USTA has put out is that the that there just needs to be like 3 consecutive ones in like the same state or like within a region. So what we did was just move it around, so it's not conflicting with anything at all.
Well, I want to congratulate you on moving one that had been in the same date for quite some time.
Yeah.
So I hope this ends up being a very successful year for that
No,
move.
it is. I mean, traditionally, we get really high remarks from the USTA, and even last year, if it wasn't because of weather, we changed a couple of things around. So we ended up having our Kids Day on the semifinal day. So we were able to attract 65 kids plus their parents to come in. They ended up staying for one of the 2 matches, and then afterwards started raining, so they ended up vacating. But the idea was also, we're trying to broadcast it to not only, it's a free event. So yes, we want people from Flagler County, but we wouldn't mind people from St. John's and Volusia and Brevard and wherever else. But what we do is that we give the kids a free, a free pass to come back the next day to come to the finals, because 1, we want them to come here, but then 2, that means mom and dad are coming as well back to our city, back to the county, and spending money here. So,
Great, good job.
Anything else for Brendan?
yeah. And Hampton Inn is our hotel that we're utilizing.
And looking forward to working with you again. Why the name change of the tournament?
So the name change ended up happening because the International Tennis Federation, they decided to do a complete overhaul across the world. So it used to be just a futures event, but then now they're going to, so it's M15 if it's a $15,000 event, M25 for $25,000,
Yeah,
and then afterwards it's a challenger. So there's the U.S. Open, Challenger, M25, and then M15. So we're at the M25 event.
And
so
thank you for moving the date as well. I
Yeah.
wish more people would take events like that into consideration. But so.
Mr. Crabb, do you need to recuse yourself?
I don't technically have a
room block?
signed contract
Okay.
yet, so
Thank you. And going forward, if any of the hoteliers or other members need to recuse themselves right before the speaker starts, just go ahead and announce that so we have that officially on the record.
Yeah.
But thank you for clarifying.
Okay, if there's nothing else, I'll entertain a motion to approve the M25 Palm Coast Tournament.
Motion to approve?
Second.
It's been moved and seconded to approve the M25 Palm Coast Tournament. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. All opposed say nay. Hearing none, the motion passes unanimously.
Thank you.
Thank you, Brendan. Next up is Flagler Broadcasting July 4th Independence Celebration for $8,000. David.
David Ayers, Vice President and General Manager of Flagler Broadcasting, and Mary Adams, she was our business manager, and wanted her to do a quick little presentation. I wanted to give a little preface to why we're here and asking for $8,000 on this. Our partnership with the city of Flagler Beach has been really good over the years in producing the first Fridays, and we partnered with them on the July 4th to take over doing entertainment in the park and picking up the tab for all that, making it free for everybody to come so families can come, and so we do all that. My big concern for next year is the Coke Zero is gone. There is no Coke Zero. We talked to a lot of people that were there, and a lot of people come to Flagler County because of NASCAR on that weekend, and I think you guys will agree with that. And the fact that that will be a missing element next year because they're moving the Coke Zero to August. So to me, that means on July 4th weekend, there's going to be a lot of vacant hotel rooms that were normally filled up by NASCAR fans that enjoyed what we're doing here. So based on that premise, we came up with a marketing campaign to do to target Ocala, Gainesville, and Orlando, because everybody wants to go to the beach on July 4th weekend, and even contesting on Ocala, Gainesville, Orlando radio stations to win a weekend on Flagler Beach for July 4th. I see, and I know Amy sees it, where Tampa Bay and St. August and St. Pete are marketing that they are the beaches of Orlando. Are you kidding me? Okay. So there's a big grab for Central Florida people to go to the beach. And my thoughts were we need to get in the grab on this and make it a fun thing and focus Flagler Beach. Because if they're going to come to Flagler Beach for the July 4th weekend, they're going to be staying in the variety of hotels we have, whether it be Hammock Beach Resort or the Hilton or the Red Roof Inn, doesn't make any difference. We have a lot of different categories of hotels and places for them to stay. So that was why we threw our in the hat here to go for $8,000 to market Flagler Beach in particular with the July 4th. And I know the TDC already funds the fireworks, but this has nothing to do with that. That's just icing on the cake for it. So with that, Mary Adams prepared a little PowerPoint, and so I thought it would be nice if she could flip through the slides for you. So, Mary Adams.
Hello again. It's nice to meet everyone and see everyone this morning. We are going to do a brief overview of what we already do and the events that we put on in the community, how we'd like to build July 4th, and how we will use the funds that we are requesting today. So these are, if you turn in your car radio, not using Bluetooth, these are the cities that we reach outside of Flagler County now. We also have expanded to digital streaming services through our app, which you'll see on the next slide. All of the markets that we reach and plan to use within the company, in addition to the other marketing campaigns outside of our company David mentioned. On the next slide, you will see the list of events that we've grown over the years. This is just a kind of an overview of the big things that we do and that we want to continue growing. On the next slide, you'll see the annual impact that these events I just listed for you, a snapshot of what we do over the course of the year. And there's a detailed breakdown on the next slide that just kind of breaks down where that total dollar amount from the economic impact survey that we got with the new tool from the TDC, the event calculator. We really liked finding the monetary values on that, so it's on this slide. And on the next slide, we will talk a little bit more about how we plan to grow the July 4th event. We'd like to expand the activities that we already are a part of, so we would be adding events and live music that would last longer throughout the day. In addition to that, so David mentioned the marketing campaign that we put together that would encourage those who might stay overnight other places to come to Flagler Beach, and we would do that using more marketing funds that we are requesting today. So on the next slide, you'll see an example of the marketing that we do of our services and how we would use those funds. This is just one of the ways that we would use the $8,000 we were requesting today via billboards, radio campaigns, print. We stretch across the board with all of our partnerships. And on the next slide, we'll conclude with where our goal is 450 hotel rooms. We believe that with the event Coke Zero moving, we won't have an issue filling those rooms, and we plan to use the $8,000 to do that. I would like to just point out a correction. Rather than that saying the estimated ROI of $442,000, it would be a total economic impact. Craig would have the correct ROI for that. So thank you for your time.
Any
Okay,
questions for?
Sorry, question,
Yeah, Felicia.
Chairman. 4th of July for most people is a time to travel and usually pretty close to home, not very far away from home, and watch fireworks and stuff like that. So I commend you on the goal of 450 hotel rooms. How will you verify that those hotel rooms were for this event and not just for the person who travels and
So using that marketing campaign, we would promote and work with our hospitality partners a promo code. So we would have some sort of tracking, be it a website
Okay.
or a promotional code that they would type in.
Okay.
So that's how we would
you'll be
track it.
tracking the rooms that are only in use with that promo code.
That's correct. That's how we'll be tracking it.
Okay, also, what we do is with the, we have 4 Orlando, Ocala, Gainesville radio stations we work with, not our company, another one. But we would do a contest with them, which the people would enter on WooBox. And the WooBox captures data from everybody as well, so we would know who was entering and who would want to come. So I think there'd be a residual value also to that data of people that would be, hey, you know, never heard of Flagler Beach, or hey, we love that, whatever it would be. So we would, and like Mary said, we would also have offer a promo code for it. But the spark of it would be like 30 days out, hey, win a weekend for July 4th on Flagler Beach. That would be the theme to it.
How many rooms are we going to give away?
Well, we would pay for the winner. So,
just for one winner.
Yeah, just
That's all it was.
we'd have one family win a weekend on Flagler Beach.
Okay.
Yeah. So,
I have a comment or a
Yes.
question, both, I guess. So we already fund the fireworks.
Yes, TDC does.
Okay. Can you clarify your comment that I think you said something along the lines of, we already fund the fireworks, but this doesn't really, this 8,000 isn't really going towards the firework?
correct.
Okay, so my issue is, you mentioned the Coke Zero. We don't get nearly the traffic for that race that we do for Daytona 500. So Daytona 500 is a much more, it's a much bigger event than the Coke Zero race. I think this year, I think at my hotel, and I don't know if Mark wants to chime in here or not, but I may have had over a 3-day period, maybe 20% of my hotel was race fans. I mean, that's it. Now, I know the weather kind of screwed up things a little bit, but so $8,000 seems like an awful lot of money to me for this. 4th of July kind of promotes itself. I mean, it's a national holiday, so, but I'm just wanting to make sure because we already fund the fireworks, and now we're going to give $8,000 more to, how do we know, like, in 2018, it says we had 310 verifiable room nights. How do we know that?
We've never applied for the grant before, so that was an estimate based on the post-event meetings that we have internally.
Okay.
So it's not been
verifiable.
That's correct. We've never applied before.
Yeah, I mean, 30,000 people. That's very hard to track. I mean, even with a code, even with a booking link, even with a code, and with all the third parties, Expedia, the Airbnbs, which we've had that conversation many times on this council. That's all I got.
Yeah, it's a valiant effort. You need to try and get people to come here for July 4th. From our perspective, we sold out the 4th, 5th, and 6th. And we're salivating at a Saturday, July 4th next year, because we think we're going to sell out, and we wouldn't actually make a room block with you because we're not going to discount rates. We're just going to sell them to the general public. I have not personally been down to the 4th, so the interesting part for me is, what exactly you're putting on that, or what could we put on that's going to draw more people to Flagler and ensure that we do get the capacity here. I'm also interested into what Flagler has, in their perspective on July 4th, if there's too many people, or if there's, because that one event just kind of overwhelms the area already, it seems. And then I think there probably needs to be more detail work on the advertising. One billboard for 1 month is probably going to cost you $3,000, which is, over 40% of what you're asking for. So if we're looking at spending $8,000, we probably need some more detailed explanation of the incremental advertising and benefit we would see from that.
Yeah, well, the billboard that you used we have billboards all over anyway, and so we would just switch out copy on it. We have 2 billboards on ISB right across from the track that are lit up at night, and they're panel ones that change. So that's what that would be. Most of this would be used for out of market. And to me, really, like, I'm not looking for anything in this. I just look at it like, if you say 20% and 20% times all the hotels in town, 20%, I think that adds up to quite a few rooms. But if you feel that they'll be all sold out anyway, despite the Coke Zero 400 not being here, well, then that's great. Then we don't need to do anything. But we just wanted to, talking with the city and the restaurants that are saying they could use more customers and things like that, if the projection is going to be less customers next year because of the NASCAR moving their date, then I think something should be done about it to help offset that drop that would be projected.
David, is the $8,000, that's all advertising?
Yes.
That's all advertising.
I forgot to mention, I think the hotel market is doing well on Saturdays as well. I've noticed in the county. We're up to like 80% in Palm Coast on Saturdays in the summer. There is, of course, uncertainty. I don't know what next year's going to bring. And to look at a Saturday, 4th of July, you'd probably have to go back 7 years. And I don't know what that did then.
I mean, even this year with the 4th being on a Thursday, I mean, people had the Thursday off and then they just made a whole weekend out of it.
Sure.
So I just don't think we need to spend this much money advertising for a national holiday where we know people are going to come anyway. So
How did your hotel do
we
last?
did perfectly fine. We were just like Mark.
You were filled
we were
up.
full 3 nights in a row.
Stephen, did you have the same?
Same here, yes, sir.
And
Yeah.
it
We
takes
just
you-
don't do that much for the race.
No, but it,
And it takes about an hour to get out of Flagler Beach to get home the city is slammed, and I think.
yeah, but I got to
And,
give credit to
even-
the city. They've done some remarkable stuff with the buses and the,
Even
yeah.
the intercoastal this year was like wall-to-wall boats, so.
Okay. Well, if what we're proposing isn't needed, then we'll withdraw the proposal. I was just bringing it up to, try to, supplement and divert. So, like I say, that money would have been all spent out of market and that type of thing anyway. So, and maybe Amy can, do some of your things. But if we're filled up anyway on that weekend, then it's kind of what I'm hearing.
Chairman, I have a question. Maybe
Ms.
Amy
Felicia.
can answer. Do we know what our bookings were for the July 4th weekend?
No, we don't have.
Because we're in July and they haven't
Right,
been reported
right,
yet.
Right. I only have my man on the street research is when I asked
Right.
the hoteliers what kind of weekend they had for the 4th of July.
And
if I understand them right, they were sold out. I mean,
well, these two were, so I was
These
just
two were,
wondering
yeah.
if all of them, were at a good market. But I was here July 4th and we chose to stay home because of the traffic.
I was in Flagler Beach. I was down there with Eric.
I was trying to get there.
Well, even the intercoastal was crowded.
Yeah.
Yeah, we chose to stay home as well. Amy, it was actually only 4 years ago that we were a July 4th Saturday, I think. So you potentially could look up that and then get back with David to see if, some additional teamwork on advertising is appropriate.
Chair, I got comments.
Yes.
I think Flagler Beach is at capacity on the 4th, if not over. What I would like to see, next year's 4th of July is on Saturday. It would be nice to see a marketing initiative like this on the 3rd and the 5th. But and I can't speak for everybody and I can't speak for Commission, but I cannot see Flagler Beach seeking more, under a big marketing initiative, more folks for the 4th. I think we are at peak capacity for that. It takes a year of prep just to handle what we got. Now, there is a gap on those other days, though, that would be desired and probably needed by the town and the business owners. But as for that one day, it's we are wall-to-wall people.
Chair, I got a comment. Or maybe Amy can help too. The beach renourishment project that's going to take place next year, or maybe can you anticipate, from what I heard about the project, when the beach renourishment takes place, there's a lot of smells. It really takes a long time I'm just wondering if there's any kind of negative effects. 'Cause I agree with most of the guys on the board right now and ladies saying that, hey, we are at capacity. Without the Coke Zero now, and maybe we've seen what happened with the road and the toll it takes. Now if we're about to do another major project on the beach,
We, to, I think somewhat answer your question, so for next year's budget, we have included an additional $100,000 just in advertising to address that potential scene that could happen out there.
Yeah, we're pretty guaranteed, by the Corps of Engineers that it's going to be like a mile, then another mile, and, but I understand your concern that where they're working, there's going to be no people on the beach. I mean, that's going to be going on during the 4th of July. I mean, they're going to stop work. They're not going to work during the 4th of July weekend, but there's going to be some upheaval. Yes.
so it's just one of those. We'll see what happens, I guess.
All right, well, getting a sense of this, I'll entertain a motion to approve or not approve.
Chair?
Yes.
Just one question.
Yep.
And this would probably be for Amy. Amy, I don't even know if there is an appetite. I'm just looking at a hypothetical. Is there a way for the applicant to change, or is it stays packaged the way it is? And, if they were to look at the off days outside of the 4th for the package, is that option there, or is it has to be approved as this only?
Correct. You're either going to approve or deny this package, this application. Now, we do have a schedule when, if there's additional money, that applicants can still come back. So that is a possibility for them to do that.
So they could repackage this and come back to us,
Yes.
For a post-July 4 celebration.
something like that.
Okay.
All right. If nothing else, I'll entertain a motion to do whatever on the Flagler Broadcasting 4th of July Independence Celebration. Hearing no motion, the project is denied.
Okay, all right, thank you very much, and I hope that, we appreciate working with you guys on a lot of things we do. Thank you very much.
Well, don't hesitate, Dave, if you heard the concerns here, and maybe there is a way to put a package together for the, maybe focus on the 3rd. Maybe there's something we could do there, and then you could come back and.
Okay, all right, well, we'll
look at.
brainstorm a little bit with
Okay.
Amy and Craig, see if
Right.
we can come up with something worthwhile, okay?
Right.
All right, hey, once again, really, seriously, thank you.
Thank you, David. Next up is the Flagler Sports and Conservation Incorporated CFDA Florida State Championship. If I understand that, that's the quick draw?
Yes,
That's
fast
the
draw.
quick draw, fast draw. Yeah, right.
And I'll try to answer any questions you have.
Just please introduce yourself. And then,
Oh, my name's Andrew Mendelea, Cowboy Fast Draw, named Mendy. This is a tournament. We bring people in from all over the country. This year we had shooters from California, Arizona, Oregon, Texas, Louisiana, Minnesota, Maine, Philadelphia, or Pennsylvania. All the states on the East Coast were represented.
And it wasn't clear to me on the location. You can do it at the archery
The
gun
Flagler.
club? The gun club, or are you going to do it at the
Ag Museum.
Ag Museum?
Yeah.
Okay.
We always try to put it on during a time when they're having something going on. So we help their draw.
Sure.
And they help ours.
You going to get the sheriffs involved this year?
We had a problem with that this year.
I
One
know
of
you
the state troopers is actually a member of the club now, and some of the other police officers didn't.
No, there was a conflict.
Yeah, that was kind of embarrassing. But the money from this would go towards trophies, buckles, things like that. This last year, or this year, I was able to raise the 50 rooms. We had applied for 4,000. I only applied for the 2,000 this year because with Airbnbs and condo rentals, we had several groups went together and rented condos on the ocean, like 3 couples in a 4-bedroom condo. And it's just, and then some people just don't like giving information where they're staying.
Right.
So I was able to find the 50 that we needed to qualify for the 2,000.
Okay, any questions from the commission? I've attended this event, it's entertaining.
Yeah, it's a good time.
It's entertaining,
Everybody
yeah.
enjoys it.
The costumes are entertaining, so, yeah. All right, well, if there are no questions, I'll entertain a motion to approve the CFDA Florida State Championship at $2,000. Hearing no motion, project is denied.
Okay.
All right, thank you. Next, the International Conference of Funeral Service Examining Boards, the 116th annual meeting of this conference, be in February of next year. Do we have a representative here for that?
Chairman, I need to excuse myself from voting on this, as we have a block of rooms with the
Okay.
contract. Yes, sir.
Okay, Stephen, got it?
Yes, and I'll be happy to answer any questions as well about this conference coming in. This is a conference that's booked at the resort. They're based out of Arkansas, and they're coming in and with a number of room nights.
But is this something that moves around the United States? And,
Yes.
And so we've attracted them here.
Yeah, we attracted them here. They're staying at the resort. It's booked, I believe. Mr. Baker can confirm that. It is booked, I believe.
It is. It is. It comes in right after the races, February 17th through the 1st for next year.
And is this the first year it's been in this area?
Yep.
Okay.
Yep. It's 240 room nights.
And the,
Is what they booked.
That's what they book. Hope they pick up 241.
and this wouldn't be a repeat situation?
No, this would be a one-time, unless they come back in a couple of years once they go through their rotation around the country.
What would the funds be used for?
They're advertising it as well as space rental and other costs associated with hosting the conference at the resort.
There's some inclination to whether the advertising's needed?
There probably will be advertising to the people around the country as well, because it's not just one small organization. It's people coming from around the country to come to the conference. So they'll be using probably some of those dollars to advertise to the participants that would be coming in.
I mean, is there some historical data on how this conference does, or have we picked up any room nights yet?
I don't know. I can. I'll try to find out for you on that one.
Yeah, I mean, on their application, they do have the verifiable room nights of when they were in San Diego. Last year, they had 260. New Orleans was the year before. They had 240. When they were in Hilton Head the previous year, they had 270 verifiable room nights.
Are they a 501c? Are they nonprofit?
Yeah, that's on the application.
So with the verifiable room nights at the other communities, it's just whether or not they like Palm Coast and want to come here.
Correct. It's a conference that moves around like any other traditional business
Yeah.
conference.
So, and how did we get in touch with them to get them to decide on us?
Through the resort's efforts to recruit.
Thank you for the recruiting.
Okay, if there are any other questions, I'll entertain a motion to approve this conference, the Funeral Service Examining Board's conference.
I have a motion to approve.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded to approve the 116th annual meeting of the Funeral Service Examining Boards. All those in favor say aye. Aye.
Aye.
All opposed say nay. Hearing none, the motion passes 7-0 with Mr. Baker abstaining. I'm sorry?
Second, Johnny. Thank you.
Next up is the Sunrise Outdoors Vibe Battle, Fall 2019 event at 2,500.
How y'all doing? My name is Matt McClellan. My wife and I own and operate Sunrise Outdoors. We're recently relocated to Flagler Beach, somewhat startup kayak and paddle sports, retail and rental business here in town. Our goal for this whole event here is to try to put Flagler County, put that Flagler Beach to Marineland, even on down into Highbridge Park, on the map for a lot of kayak fishermen that are Vibe kayakers. So a little background on Vibe real quick. This is going to be a brand-specific tournament for Vibe Kayaks. Vibe Kayaks is a growing company. I think they ranked 137 on Inc. magazine's fastest-growing companies in the U.S. list. They are the top fastest-growing kayak company in the world right now. The organic marketing growth that they've been able to achieve and sustain over the past, say, 5 years is what has triggered this tournament. This is an organic tournament created by fans and a little bit of involvement from Vibe promotional staff to make these things happen. They happen in random places throughout the United States. It just started in fall of 2018 and has already picked up at least 20 to 30 contestants in general, and that's without any direct support from Vibe. I've reached out to Vibe, as we are a Vibe kayak dealer, to see what they would be willing to invest in marketing and growing this whole piece and put it here. Obviously, that's going to help us. It's going to help the community by putting this location on the map as a good place to hold a kayak fishing tournament. I'm going to turn on support. Let me read my own slides there. Can you back up just one more? I want to make sure I didn't miss anything. Oh, it should also be noted, this is not just the tournament. We plan to have this as a 2 to possibly 3-day event, with the first day being an end-of-season celebration party for Vibe. We did not include, I went really conservative when we started looking at the room nights for the purposes of the ROI generation. We didn't really include the estimates for the turnout for that end-of-season celebration. That end-of-season celebration is going to be an evening celebration. Hope to have beer and wine involved. Doubt anybody's driving home at 11 o'clock at night back to Georgia or South Carolina or wherever they should stay the night. That event, Vibe hosted one in April for a season kickoff party. It had about 400 participants. Didn't include those. We just included it for the purposes of the ROI, what we anticipate people doing for the tournament specifically. So this has kind of grown since we really honed in and discussed this grant package. I just wanted to throw that in there. Next slide. When October 11th to the 13th, alt dates 18th to the 20th, if there's a weather, something comes up with the weather, right? So we're honing in on the 11th through the 13th, where the tournament is going to be held across the entire intercoastal waterway. So we're trying to stretch these kayakers out from as far south as Highbridge Park to as far north as the 206 Bridge. But everything is going to be hosted and housed inside the county. Where is still to be determined. We're looking to inch up towards the northern part of the county on 818. Next slide. So far, we're going to be the ones hosting the event. Current national sponsors, we got Vibe, obviously. Bixby has just partnered with Vibe. Bixby's a startup company that's created this pretty neat little motor that Vibe has incorporated onto some of their new kayaks. Yak Gadget, another national startup company. And this is a very small list so far. It is growing. I only wanted to put on here the current commits. We're still working on getting more and more to jump in on this. I know spoke with Fish Bites, a St. Augustine company out of St. Augustine at ICAST last week. And they're on board with throwing some stuff in and kind of promoting it from the St. Johns County area, bringing folks in. Local sponsors, we're trying to support some of these local businesses here in town as well. Hammock Bait and Tackle has agreed to host the event for bait and tackle purposes. And then next slide, the key feature of this event, as opposed to the others that has been hosted in the past across the nation, is this one is going to support a couple of local veteran nonprofit organizations. We're shooting for Canines for Warriors. We've already got the application submitted with them to try to generate revenue for them. And then Team RWB is actually, they've used us a couple of times to get some of their team out on the water, get them active and doing stuff. So we're going to reciprocate, try to give that back to them. Any questions?
So first time event,
It
first
is,
time
yes.
to try to do this?
Yes.
Okay.
Hey, Matt, I got a question. The Vibe tournament that they had, or the Vibe event they had before this, where was it at?
They held one in Ozella, Florida. Another one up in, oh my gosh, it was in South Carolina, I believe. They were pushing for one on Lake Erie this year, but it fell through due to some various reasons. This is the first time that a dealer has come on board, a Vibe kayak dealer has come on board with attempting to promote it. It's also the first time that Vibe has shown this much interest in promoting their own organically grown kayak fishing tournament. I was just sitting there throwing emails back and forth while I was waiting for my turn to come up here, and they seem to be heavily committed. We're in the talks now discussing the financial aspects of how much they're going to commit. We stand to make nothing directly off of this event. Sunrise Outdoors is just the conduit. We hope that inherent marketing is achieved through us being able to host this, and that it highlights this area as a good fishery. Another point that I need to highlight is that if these tournaments, if this becomes an annual recurring tournament and it grows, or it triggers other annually recurring tournaments and they grow, most of the kayak fishing tournaments, this one included, are all catch photo release tournaments. We won't be taking anything out of the local fisheries. They'll all go right back in.
Good. Any questions?
Comment. Just commend you for throwing spaghetti on the wall and seeing if it sticks. I mean, it's always scary to start that first year anything. So
It is. And I think with Vibe, with the vibe that I'm getting from Vibe on how much they're willing to commit to this, I like the odds of it being the success that we anticipate it being much better. My goal when I initially set out for this was to really dive into it myself, use social media marketing as much as I could, and do as much free marketing as possible, because while we are a for-profit organization, we are not making profit at the moment. So this is kind of a push to make that happen too. Hoping to get 50 kayakers to come out and participate. By myself, that sounded like a stretch. With Vibe jumping in on it, with Bixby has already committed to $300 gift certificates to their products. We're going to hold one as a raffle for the nonprofit, one as a prize. And on top of it all, Vibe just announced the release of a new kayak that hit the market that is it's blowing people away. And if I can get them to bring that kayak to the event as a demo, people come from across the country. They came from across the country just to stare at it at ICAST. They'll likely come back from across the country to sit on and actually try it out.
question for Amy. Our camping overnights count, right? Because this is a major camping.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And it's not going to be just camping. Camping, obviously, we're hoping to get into River to Sea Preserve, possibly Gamble Rogers, Princess Place, kind of spread that out across the camping side of things. But there are some folks who love to kayak fish that don't like to rough it either. So we're anticipating hotel stays, even resort stays and stuff like that. So.
And you have a way of tracking that with promo codes?
Oh, yes.
Okay.
I forgot to mention that one. Probably won't be with promo codes. What we're going to have is anybody interested in participating, we're establishing a website for the event, specifically for this event series. So when you sign up, creating the website to have a questionnaire on there. Where are you staying? Where are you coming from? That was another question that I heard come up a lot. I anticipate, this is anecdotally speaking, 80% of the people showing up are going to be out of Flagler County. We haven't established enough of a Vibe presence in Flagler County to draw from Flagler County. So it's all going to be coming from outside the county. Since this is going to be a reimbursement grant, we have to verify the room stays. The Vibe tribe, if you will, the folks who are going to sign up for this via this conduit, are going to be required to submit proof that they stayed and where they stayed.
Okay. Any other questions? Not, I'll entertain a motion to approve the Sunrise Outdoors Vibe Battle Fishing Tournament for fall of 2019.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Been moved and seconded to approve the Vibe Battle Fall 2019. All in favor say aye. Aye. All opposed say nay. Hearing none, the motion passes 8-0. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Yeah, you got it. Next up is Flagler Auditorium Governing Board, Flagler Auditorium Season 2019-2020. Request is for $10,000.
Chair, I'll need to recuse.
Excuse me?
I'll need to recuse.
Okay. Yeah, I've got you down, Mark, already.
Thank you.
Hi, Richard.
Good morning, Commissioner, ladies, gentlemen. Actually, no, sir, good afternoon. I was afraid I was going to be here till about 5 o'clock tonight, but congratulations.
So are we.
You're
we.
very efficiently.
Richard, please introduce yourself.
My name is Richard Hamilton, and I'm here representing the Flagler Auditorium Governing Board. I'd just like to process just a few quick remarks. I wanted to thank you, the TDC, and particularly your staff, for your help during what turned out or started out to be a very, very trying year. As you know, we lost our director, Lisa McDevitt, first to an illness, and then she succumbed to cancer. We also lost a longtime board member, Charlie Helm, who had been a strong supporter. So it looked like starting off as a pretty black year, but the board stepped in, volunteers stepped in, the remaining staff stepped in, and we ended up producing a pretty successful year. And starting off and kicking off our new season, I've given you a handout of the new season. And we also have a new director, Amelia Fulmer, who would have preferred to be here with me, but unfortunately did a pre-commitment that takes her out of county. So with those thanks to your staff, I also just wanted to maybe answer one of the questions, which is, what do you get for your money? And I really want to express, and I can't emphasize enough, that your dollars help us expand our reach out of the county. We've been noticeably successful. We turn over zip code reports for all our attendees every month to Deborah. And we're starting to see more and more people from not just our neighboring communities like St. Augustine, but Jacksonville, Orlando, Port Orange, New Smyrna coming in. And I can give you other stories of people who actually come in from out of county. What you also do by supporting the auditorium is you express the support of the local community that we can then go and use and leverage that. Your $10,000 last year, we were able to show the state that we have that community support of you and our patrons. And we're starting out this year with a state grant of $20,000 to help support our programming. So your $10,000 was doubled that way. A few years back, you gave us $150,000 as a part of our capital renovation. We leveraged that into a $500,000 grant from the state, which has just been used to complete a fairly extensive renovation project. So that's what you get by supporting that. You not only support the entertainment for our community, but you help us show that community support to others and leverage at least double, perhaps significantly more. So with that, I'll just entertain, are there any particular questions anybody wants to ask me?
Well, it's a good schedule. I met with Amy Fulmer, and we chatted about this, and it's a pretty ambitious schedule.
We are going to have a ribbon cutting on August the 5th, and I'm sure you're all going to get invites to that, and look forward to seeing you then.
Any questions for Richard?
Richard, I'm sorry, question, Chairman. Question about your room nights. You've got 500 plus, but are most of those room nights for the performers? Thank you. For the different performers and what they're bringing in to be able to do their show? Do you know?
I don't have the exact numbers. I think we had about 600 room nights last year, and probably 300 to 400 of that may have been from performers, and others were reports from the hotels of people who came and stayed.
All of them. When you have room nights for the performers, and this could be a question for Amy, those room nights comped and therefore not a paying room night? And do we count those in the mix as well? I'm just trying to figure out.
Those are generally paid room nights.
Paid room nights, okay.
We've got some performers who actually come and use the auditorium for the rehearsals, and they will pay for 2 or 3 days extra nights. And we've got other ones who use Flagler County as a base for their tours to other theatres around, and then come back and stay in the county overnight.
Thank you.
Anything else for Richard?
Richard, the money would just go toward advertising. Is that what you use it for?
Of course, money is fungible, but yes, we use this money to expand our leverage and our advertising for Idaho County to bring.
If nothing else, I'll entertain a motion to approve the $10,000 for Flagler Auditorium Governing Board.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Motion has been made and seconded to approve Flagler Auditorium Governing Board at $10,000. All in favor, say aye. Aye. All opposed, say nay. Motion passes 7-0 with Mr. Richardson abstaining.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, Richard. Next, the Continuing Education 14th Annual Primary Care Spring Conference. This was hard to me to understand because it goes to 1, 2, 3, and they're all about the same. So, well, start with the first one.
No problem. My name is Walter Ennis. I'm president of Continuing Education Company. A lot of new faces, so I can give you a little bit of a background on who we are, and then I'll open it up for questions on these specific grants. And you're right, they're all very similar, but we're a nonprofit medical education organization. We're accredited to provide continuing education credits to medical professionals. So if we look at a doctor, a doctor is required to get 150 continuing education credits every 3 years. And they'll go to local hospitals, they'll go to national association meetings, and then independent organizations like myself, like our organization that put on these programs. And an example of this spring program, they'll be able to get 20 credits for attending. And it's just a series of lectures given by experts in the field of primary care. Our focus is on family medicine and primary care. We put on, this year it'll be 20 conferences a year throughout the country, everywhere from Hawaii, Florida, South Carolina, the Charleston area. And, we're fortunate to have, Flagler County as a location to put on 3 of these meetings. I currently live here. We moved here 6 years ago as a result of conducting these meetings here and really falling in love with the area. We really are a medical company, a medical education organization, but we spend probably the majority of our time and focus on marketing, specifically destination marketing, because people just don't come because, hey, we're holding a meeting here. As I said earlier, we're competing against the major medical universities, academic centers like the Mayo Clinic, Cleveland Clinic, as well as the American Medical Association, American College of Physicians, the American Academy of Family Practice, and there are many, many other smaller organizations that we compete with these meetings to attract these doctors to the meetings. So we spend a big part of our budget is on marketing, and specifically destination marketing. So that's a little bit of a background of who we are. And again, we have 3 different grant applications because we do put on 3 different meetings here.
Amy, do we assist in the marketing of this as well as like we do everybody else? Or is this something different?
We do not assist in advertising and marketing for this. It's a very specific niche market that Walter and Barbara are experts in. We do assist, though, specifically Deborah. She goes out the day that everyone is checking in out at the resort and hands out all of our information, gives them very personalized itineraries and recommendations for restaurants and things to do in the area. So that is our assistance.
Okay.
And I can give you a background a little bit on the marketing, how we market these meetings specifically. The Palm Coast meetings are a little harder to market than some of the other conferences that we hold. We hold 3 meetings in Hawaii. It's a destination that doesn't need marketing. Charleston, it's been, I think, their 7th year, it's considered #1 tourism destination in the country. We have 3 successful meetings in that area, Florida Keys and so on. So those areas have huge budgets for marketing, It's something that we know, it's the TDC budget that we're here to discuss today. So, we put a lot more effort into marketing the Palm Coast meetings than we do the others. We rarely, we send out our surveys and so on. Rarely do people say, hey, I want to come to Palm Coast. But they do come. We are able, and we've been successful in attracting 200, 250 physicians. Those are physicians that are attending the meetings, but they come with family. And typically, a given meeting, we'll see 1,000 people come in for a meeting with family, extended family, and so on. A lot of that marketing, we do send out brochures for a year, email blasts, sending out probably 100,000 plus email blasts, but a lot of the marketing is search engine, Google AdWords. And we pretty much have our fingers on everything, on the pulse of what we do. We're able to track, and we're able to see, look at conversion rates to see, well, this person is coming to Palm Coast based on this ad. And it's something that's really, unique in the way unique to the way we do it. But
You've had him here before.
We've had him here before. In fact, I think we were probably the first, I know for a fact, we were the first organization that requested a grant that was from out of the state. That used to be just local organizations. This is back when we were based in New York. And we have gotten this grant before from you, and we've had him here before. This will be the 13th year for the spring meeting. Now, the reason why we have 2 spring meetings, it started out as 1 meeting, and the first meeting, don't even think we had 100 people that came. But we put all of this, the grant support, into the advertising, okay? And a lot of it goes into the Google advertising. The meeting grew. It grew too big for the resort, too big for the meeting space, I should say. And we decided, well, let's see what happens if we were to offer it twice. And that's what we did, back-to-back meetings. And both of them grew to where they pretty much sell out. We then decided to bring, and this meeting originally was held in Captiva Island, and we decided to move our summer meeting from Amelia Island. Let's give it a try here. Again, those are areas that are much easier to market, but this one, probably this last summer, it was just 2 weeks ago, last week actually, it's the largest conference we've ever held here in Palm Coast in terms of number of room nights and number of attendees.
Now, I don't want to inflate Stephen's ego, but I think once you've come and stayed at the resort, that's a pretty good draw to come back, because it's such a nice place.
So we can talk about coming back. It would, we do get repeats, but to the Palm Coast Conference, I would say about 10%, 15% of those attendees will come back year to year. So that's really important to focus. The marketing is important because we're bringing new people to the area. And getting back to what Amy had mentioned, we then partner with the county very closely. We set up a whole station, a whole area that I invite anybody at our next conference to come and see, where we have restaurants who, we get their menus, and we go into a restaurant, hey, could I have a stack of menus? They look at us, why? Well, because we put them out there. We have all the area attractions, all their information out there. We send out a very detailed letter to every attendee before they come, because it's great that we get them here, but once they're here, we want them to spend their money, right? And that letter includes restaurant guides. It includes details on the activities and so on. We've had Marineland was there this year. First time that we actually had the person that you sent right there taking, orders. They were signing up for reservations. So it really, really is a great opportunity. Once they're here, we try to make sure that they stay here. We promote a little bit of St. Augustine, but not much. We want them to know what's going on in the Flagler area, especially
Did I
with
read
the
it right
parks.
that the conference, they're free every day at lunch to
Beauty
go
of
do
the
stuff?
conference. They're here from 8 o'clock. We're done at 12:15 sharp.
Right.
And then they're...
So they have all afternoon to go
all
enjoy
afternoon.
Flagler County.
Mhm. Yeah.
Can I ask a question of you, please? The other locations that you hold your education pieces at, do the TDCs support you in those other locations?
They don't, because they don't have such a program.
Okay.
Okay?
I was just wondering.
In fact, I mean, we know for a fact that they don't because we've looked at it. And as I said earlier, Maui doesn't need to put money into a program like ours to attract people. For us, we're a small meeting there. This happens to be the smallest meeting that we hold.
And that's what I was going to ask next.
And what's holding us back from growing is, I would say it's, well, Stephen knows this. We need a new hotel with bigger space, right?
Hotel's coming. The hotel is coming.
And I also want to point out that those rooms that we mentioned there are verified because we're contracted, right? But about 30 to 40% of our attendees do not stay at the resort. They stay at the other areas, the other hotels. And we used to, we used to book rates, well, not block rates at the other hotels, but we used to get some favorable rates from them. And we realized, well, even without them, they're staying there anyway. And then they self-report it because we get about 100% return on the survey that we hand out, the TDC survey. It's close to 100% return where they tell us where they're staying. And when they don't get their certificate to show they were at the meeting until they can return that back. So we really get great data from them.
Good.
Walter, can I ask a question?
Go ahead.
On your two back-to-back meetings, why do we need to give you $8,000 for each meeting?
Great question. So for many, many years, up until this meeting, we only asked for one grant. And it was actually the TDC, the people on this council, who kept saying, well, this is a great meeting. Why don't you, put in for two? Because they are two separate conferences. This year, it's a little different because they were always back-to-back. We take a look at, it's spring break, so we do an analysis of over 800 school districts around the country and take a look at what are their top spring break weeks. And we're not, we don't really draw much local. They're from all over the country. We saw that this year it was the 23rd to 27th of March and April 6th to the 10th. So there's a separation there. And we thought, well, it's going to, when we had this a few years back, and we saw that the numbers dropped on that second week. So we thought, well, we're going to have to put more into the marketing of it and market them separately. So we'll have basically different marketing plans for both conferences. That's why they're in there that way.
Any other questions for Walter?
Chairman, since we have a block of rooms with Walter, I should have done it to begin with.
I've got you down.
Yeah, thank you.
For all three, right?
How many times have you had assistance from the TDC?
I want to say that this is we didn't do it our first year, so 13, maybe our 10th year?
That's 10 years.
10, right?
On the application.
Right. And self-admittedly, your primary reason is because you moved here?
No. So, I mean, I have this discussion with Stephen all the time. And so that's probably the main reason why we keep it here. It's nice to have something in our backyard. Over the years, we've gotten to know, the people at the resort, for once, the people who are working, become good friends of ours, right? The people in the banquet staff and so on. But just in general, the restaurants that we, frequent, and it's, to me, I have the choice. We can go anywhere. And I know that this meeting could be bigger if we took it to Amelia Island. It's a fact. The spring meetings, I know I can double the size of those meetings if I bring them to Orlando, because that's where our competitors are very successful. That spring meeting, bringing it to Southwest Florida, I know for a fact it could be very successful. But to me, it's important to do something in where we currently live, where I am. It's convenient for sure, but it's kind of neat to do it this way. But I can tell you that it does take more to market it than it does for our other meetings.
Sure. So then, would you be having the conference with or without the assistance of the TDC?
That opens up a big discussion on our, on just our strategies, our planning strategies. The TDC funding absolutely helps because I know I can take that $8,000 and put that straight into Google advertising, and I know what I'm going to get back for that money. I wouldn't have to do that with, we don't do that with some of the other conferences. We'll advertise more general. Hey, you want to come to a conference, look at all these great destinations, but rarely do we have them specific to a location. So, if I didn't have the TDC funding, I'm not saying, no, we're going to go elsewhere, but it would factor into our discussions when I have my planning meetings with my staff, where, how are we going to make up for that? Are we going to see a drop in registrations? So, it's a tough one because I know that the meeting, does well. Actually, this meeting does okay. I mean, we're not losing money on it. We're breaking even for sure on this meeting. It's the summer meetings that we just held in Kiro Island that basically run the company. The meetings that we do in Hawaii, that's what keeps us going because they generate, real revenue that we could then go and do things differently with some of our other meetings and take chances. And it's just something nice as well about Flagler County and bringing people here when they come here for the first time. That also drives us. So, it's a long answer to your question, but if the TDC says no, we're not going to fund it, we wouldn't run away, but we'd have to come up with some creative ways of making sure that we can maintain those numbers.
Yeah, I'm sure there's some incremental benefit that you can get from it. It sounds like you're doing very well at growing it already if you've gone from 1 to 2 spring conferences. Stephen, this is only my first year here, but we had very positive spring break results all the way through the second weekend of April. Do you know how your weeks are performing on non-conference weeks compared to when they have the conference during spring break season?
I don't. That's a good question. I got to look at that and see. But I know for us in dealing with Walter, we need that business. We got to look at it as like a good base business for us. And the biggest thing for Walter is it's a Sunday out Friday pattern. So we need. We're trying to do longer lengths of stays, especially on the multiple bedrooms. So that's what he helps us with when we look at that. We kind of brainstorm a little bit on how to work that program. So he's been willing to work with us on the pattern of the week to kind of stay off some of those weekends because with those spring breaks, it's a busy time for us with families, especially with multiple bedrooms. So that's been a blessing for us with him.
I mean, when it comes to spring break, what's fortunate is if anybody wants that information, we could share it. I could tell you what those top spring breaks are from which areas of the country and so on. And most of the Florida spring breaks are over by the time we come, right? So these are people that are coming in from the Midwest. We even have people coming in from, the West Coast now because of our marketing activities on the West Coast. That's great. 5 years ago, we never had anyone coming in from California or Oregon, and now we're seeing that.
And just one side note, Walter moved his dates next year for us because we had another group that was over one of his preferred dates. And so he was gracious enough to slide it to maybe a time that's not so perfect for him, but he did it for us at the resort. Yeah.
Do you have direct competition in your content of primary care?
A lot of direct competition, specifically for those spring dates. There are just a handful of meetings here in Florida, mostly in Orlando and in the southwestern part of Florida that compete directly with us. And, that's the toughest part of what we do. When we survey our potential attendees, our marketing analysis shows that they come specifically for the destination. The fact that we put on great meetings is really secondary. It's probably further down the list. But we do get a lot of repeats to our meetings because of the great job that we do with the education. But knowing destination is number one. When you've got a family in Chicago saying, "Hey, we want to go to Florida," and we're saying, "Hey, let's go to Orlando, let's go to Naples or Marco Island," where some of our competitors are holding meetings, and they're saying, "Palm Coast, where's that?" So, I think we've been very successful in really, getting the word out that this is a destination. What's getting easier, that people who do come, they go back to their hospital system and say, hey, this meeting was great. I learned a lot. It was better than some of the other meetings I've been to, but the location was fantastic. So that makes our job a little easier in getting people here as well. One of the things that we've been discussing with Greg, actually, so we've been streaming the conferences. We started doing that 2 years back, and we stream them with people all over the world who actually join the stream. It's a live stream, and during the event, we're talking up Palm Coast. I'm up there making my morning announcements, letting people know, hey, don't forget to go here, don't forget to go there. But we stream throughout the year, and one of the things we're going to try to do this year during our other conferences, we might be in Maui streaming a conference, and play some promotional videos on Palm Coast to make it a lot easier for people to know, hey, well, I want to go to that meeting. He's mentioning it. That video looked great. So we're going to get that's free advertising, right? Because we're able to do it earn our time.
I would think you just need to stream Hammock Beach Resorts promo stuff, and people will decide that they want to go because you've got an extremely affluent client base coming from the Midwest originally. The states that you get people from is logical and intriguing as well. Are there any of the three conferences that you have already at capacity expectations or have a greater need for advertising than the other three?
Summer's probably the toughest one, and the second one, well, actually this year, the week before Easter, that week will probably be the toughest one to promote. It was just as Stephen said, there were 2 weeks that were stronger for spring break. That was the weakest, even because I think Easter's on the 17th this year. No, it's on the 11th or 12th, the 12th, I believe. So either of those are probably the greatest need.
Thank you.
Anything else? All right, we'll do the first one, which is the continuing education for the spring conference for March. I'll entertain a motion to approve that.
Second.
Been moved and seconded to approve the spring conference, March 23rd to 27th. All in favor, say aye. Aye. All opposed, say nay. Carries 7-0 with Mr. Baker abstaining. Item Q, Continuing Education Annual Primary Care Spring Conference, April 6th through 10th. I'll entertain a motion to approve.
Motion.
Second.
It's been motioned and moved and seconded to approve the April 6th through 10th Spring Conference. All in favor say aye. Aye. All opposed say nay. Hearing none, the motion passes 7-0 with Mr. Baker abstaining. And thirdly,
Chair, I'm sorry, excuse me. I just want to say for the record, for the last item now, the $8,000 is now available because there were 2 other grants that were denied by the council. So now that full amount is available.
Thank you, Amy. So I'll entertain a motion for the 11th Annual Essentials in Primary Care Summer Conference, July 13th through 17th.
Move to approve.
Second.
Been moved and seconded to approve the Primary Care Summer Conference, July 13th through 17th. All in favor say aye. Aye. All opposed? Hearing none, the motion passes 7-0 with Mr. Baker abstaining.
Well, thank you very much.
Thank you, Walter. Amy, you're up.
All right, I just have about 18 items to go over. Just kidding. The only update I'm going to give you is just 3 items that I have to read into the record. Item number 1, Summer Sports Florida Extreme Triathlon did not request reimbursement for the $1,000 discretionary grant approved by the TDC on July 18, 2018, and ratified by the BOCC on August 6, 2018. The $1,000 award will be returned to the budget reserves. Item number 2, the Flagler Auditorium Masquerade 5K, approved by the TDC on July 18, 2018, and ratified by the BOCC on August 6, 2018, has been canceled by the applicant. The $1,250 award will be returned to the Regional Drive Market budget balance for fiscal year 2019. And the last item is CAM Events Flagler Fondo, approved by the TDC on July 18, 2018, and ratified by the BOCC on August 6, 2018, has been canceled by the applicant. The $2,500 award will be returned to the overnight stay budget balance for fiscal year 2019. And that's all I have, and I just want to thank you guys so much for hanging in there and doing all the due diligence that's required for this program. I appreciate it. It's the longest meeting of the year that we have. We probably scared our new members. Normally, they do not last this long, but this is the one that takes a lot of time. So thank you
Just
for
so
that.
you know, I'm supposed to be in Disney celebrating my anniversary of 33 years.
Happy anniversary.
So I know my phone's been going off.
Extra commitment. Thank you. Appreciate it.
Thank
That's
you,
all I
Amy.
have, sir.
I will now open the proceedings to community outreach. A 30-minute time has been allocated at the end of this meeting for public comment. Each speaker will be allowed up to 3 minutes to address the board on items not on the agenda. Anybody wishing to speak, please come forward. Yeah, when you come up, just please state your name. And
My name is Scott Fox, Flagler Beach. I'm one of the owners of Tortugas.
Paul Chestnut, Flagler Beach, co-owner, Tortugas.
The purpose for us being here today is, first off, I'd like to thank the TDC and Amy for coming out to an initial meeting that we had a few weeks ago in regards to a new group that we're trying to put together. We're going to call it the Flagler Beach Business Merchant Members Group. And the purpose for this group is to unify the businesses with one voice to continue the growth while also protecting the integrity of our beach town. I think we all agree that we have, a hidden gem in Flagler Beach. But there's also no secret that we've had a lot of adversity over the past 3 years. Between hurricanes, road construction, we don't have control over those things. But what we do have control over is, us coming together and unifying. The purpose of the group is to really keep the lines of communication open between the TDC, the county, the city of Flagler Beach, and the businesses. And, the businesses are struggling a little bit. We're doing the best we can. But I think we'd love to really sit down and figure out how can we work together. I know the message that we're trying to send is Flagler Beach is the closest, beach off of 95 on the entire eastern seaboard. Yet we don't have any billboards. Nobody knows about it. I've got a high school reunion here on Saturday, and I've got people traveling 4 hours from Miramar to come up here, and they're probably staying at some of your hotels, and they've never even heard of Flagler Beach. Paul's lived here for 8-9 years, but we come from markets: Orlando, Miami, Fort Lauderdale, Tampa. And we're, a 2 or 3 hour drive away from all of these markets, yet we're not really driving those 1-2 day trips. And I think that would really help our businesses a lot. And I think, Flagler County has so much to offer. Is there something that we can do together? Is there a billboard I believe that the county has that maybe we can kind of work in conjunction so we can start branding Flagler Beach as Florida's last hidden gem? Between Marineland, Washington Oaks, the hammocks, the beach. Flagler County has so much to offer. You go out west, you got horseback riding, but let's start marketing that towards, 1 and 2 day trips as opposed to, trying to go out of market and try to bring, others into stay for a week. Let's really focus on, surrounding markets, Orlando's. And just to touch on what David said, he pretty much nailed it perfectly. I mean, we've got such a vast amount of people around us, and we've got how many millions of cars go up and down 95, yet you see New Smyrna, you see Melbourne, you see Cocoa Beach. But until I bought Tortugas, I never even knew Flagler Beach existed. Paul.
Just to touch on what he said. We're a small group of business owners. Doesn't necessarily have to be restaurants. Just in the beach, we wanted to come introduce ourselves. We'll probably get a little more organized and conduct a meeting on the beach if you guys would like to come out. We would appreciate that.
Yeah, and once again, we would love to work together with everybody. And again, Amy's been, so supportive with us, and it legitimized, this group. And, you know, I know we've just kind of formed it. Johnny's a part of it with us. Eric, we'd love for you to be a part of it with us. And, you know, it's, you know, we could use a little bit of help, and we'd love to work together with you guys to achieve a bigger, I guess, a long-term goal.
I'll be glad to sit down with you, Amy and I together, and talk about what we can do.
Absolutely.
I'd be glad to do that for you.
Once we get through the rigors of 4th of July in the summer, hopefully in the next couple weeks, we'll set a new meeting. And I'd love to get together with you guys at some time before then. And, you know, maybe we can all get together and put our heads together and see how we can, you know, work on marketing and branding Flagler Beach as, you know, the place to come, eat, relax, shop, surf, fish. But
Amy and
we're
I,
just gonna market it.
we'll sit down with you whenever you'd like to do that. Okay?
Excellent. Thank you so much, guys. And it's a pleasure to meet everybody that I haven't met yet.
Thank you for coming. Any comments from any of the members of the board? Anybody have anything to say?
I just wanted to make a comment regarding the Flagler Beach Merchant Group. And this basically all spurred because of the road construction.
Right.
You know, after the first few months, we didn't really feel too much of a negative impact, right? But then my next door neighbor, Beach Belly Bob's, and a few other businesses really started to struggle. And after the word Chamber of Commerce, we started having these meetings, try to get Amy from TDC involved. And the hardest thing was bringing the businesses together to communicate. Everybody is so busy all the time. And finally, the first time in probably Flagler Beach history for the last 30 years, even my dad, when he was owner, Manny's can attest to it, you know, we finally had almost 15 business owners come together at one meeting. And the end of that conversation was, hey, the immediate fix is to try to get a billboard, just something that's going to attract anyone that's driving Orlando or any of the surrounding areas, just to get them in, come spend some money and leave. And that's the end of the conversation was, hey, well, now we formed a group officially, and coming to the TDC is basically the first step to get everyone aware of what's going on and to see what kind of help we can provide to the businesses on the beach.
Okay, thank you, Johnny. Any other comments from everyone on the board?
Yeah, we have a sales admin position open and a marketing manager position open. If y'all guys know of anybody.
I have 3 relatives looking for jobs since we just moved here next Wednesday. We haven't moved here yet. I'm still living out of one suitcase.
There you go.
There you go.
Anything else? I'll entertain a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
We're adjourned. Thank you all. It's a big meeting. Thank you.
Yeah. That's the longest one we've ever had.
Yeah.
We'll talk. I'll be there.
Hey, man.
How rude.